with teaching programming languages. I'm a programmer, so I took it up. But if you're not going to cooperate, then at the end of the day, it's you who are going to lose, not me. You know what I mean? So work. And again, when I say work doesn't mean just come to my class, listen to my example, and forget about it. That's not how you will learn. Before you come to the next class, you must have practiced at least 4 or 5 programs of the nature that I've done in class. That's how you will learn. But before that, logical thinking is something that I can put in your head. You have to do it yourself. And it's like anything else. Think of it like anything else. Jobs to be done in sequence. That's it. Okay, so let's try again. Okay. So please open up your idle. Open up the last program you were working on. If you don't have it, it's up on Blackboard. You can pick it up from there. So I'm going to open up the program that we were working on last week with you, that I was working on last week with you guys. And it was called usedictionaries.py. Okay, there it is. So I met you on July 4, and then I'm kind of adding more stuff to it today. And that's why I said it wouldn't be complete. Let's complete it. Let's understand again what a dictionary is, because you need to use a dictionary in your assignment. A dictionary is basically a data structure. So it contains data and has a nature. The nature is that it is a collection of key value pairs. That means every element of the dictionary is a pair, right? So every element is a pair. So if we kind of look at the pairs, look, here is a pair, comma, another pair, comma, another pair, comma, another pair. So whenever you want to save pairs of data, you will use a dictionary. How is it different from a list? List is just a collection of items. There is no association in the pair. So as soon as I say pair, there is an association. The first part is called key and the second part is called value, because it is telling you the value of the key. So for example, in the assignment, if I'm saying student number is my key and the list of marks is your value, that means you have 2 kinds of items. The key is a string and the values is a list of values. And how do I make a list? You've learned how to make a list. You use the append method. You write a code, you write a function, keep asking marks from the user, append it to a list, and then take your number, student number, take your list, add it to your dictionary. So I'll show you how to add it to the dictionary, though it is an update method. You should be able to go and research and look it up, but I'll do it for you so that you understand, oh, this is how I add an element to a dictionary. So at the end of the day, you have 2 functions to write. One is taking input, one is showing you output. And in the main program, you write an outer loop which says, while my program does not end, ask for input, show the output. That's it. That's what's in the program, nothing else, if you kind of think about it. But it has to be done in steps. So it will take you a couple of hours or 3 hours or 4 hours, maximum 5 hours to polish it, and it should be ready. But I've given you 7 days so that you have 3 days of my office hours to come to me if you would like to. I don't mind. I can extend it by another 2 days. It doesn't matter to me. If it gives you some motivation, oh, I have another 2 days, I can work better on it. Sure, let me know. I'll extend it. It's not a big deal at all. But I want you to do it yourself, not copy it from anywhere, and understand what you are doing. Only then will you learn programming. If you're not ready to do it, then of course I can't help you much. Like for the guessing game, where lied the reason to go and look on the web for a simple program like guess a number? But I have 24 plagiarism issues in class. And copied from web, straight copied from web. That's not done. That's not how you will learn, right? You won't. That's not how you will learn. Okay, how do I check if my input is correct? We've already done that last week. Notice how I did this. Please enter a whole number. And I said, if a whole number is not added, you will get a problem. So that's another assignment task. It says the number should be integer. Use try except. So use a try except where you read your number, where you input it. If you give anything that is not an integer, like 3.5, Anju. It will catch it and it will give a message on the screen, invalid input. Of course, I say a whole number is expected. You will say a whole number between 0 and 10 is expected. So that's one check, one try except. Inside that, you have to make another check. If the mark is less than 0 or greater than 10, it's not in the range, again, you just have to give a message to the user and keep asking the input. So what is your input? So your input asking is basically while your mark is not equal to -1, that's 1. And 2, the maximum number of marks you have to ask is 5 assignments. And you have to check, is it between 0 and 10? Right? That's your one function. So try except to check for invalid input. If statement to check if it is within range of 0 to 10. And the stopping condition, -1. Plus, number of assignments should not be greater than 5. So you will have a while with an and. Mark is not equal to -1 and the count is less than or equal to 5, depending upon how you're doing it. And no magic numbers in the code, guys. 0, 10, 5 all become constants. What is a constant? Though it's not a real constant in the world of Python, that's how you declare a constant. So please follow conventions. What it means is now I will use tax rate wherever I want to use the 1.3 value. I'll use magic number, though that's not a good name at all, wherever I want to use the value 10. Ian, you had a question?
Yeah, I was about to ask if you wanted us to use constants for any of the.
Yeah, it says in the assignments. Yeah, it is mentioned in the assignment because I want you to get into the habit of understanding the concept that these are constants. 5 as a number in your code will make no sense. But if you call it maximum number of assignments and wherever you use it in your code, it starts making more sense. If you call 0 as your minimum mark and you use minimum mark, the name minimum mark in your code, it makes sense. Right? And the flexibility is I want to change it here. I'll come here and I'll change it here. And then everywhere automatically, because you're using the name, it automatically changes wherever you want it. So constants are named, these are called named constants. You've given a name to a constant, are very useful in terms of two things. One, readability. It improves the readability of your program. And 2, flexibility. Flexibility means if I need to change it, I just change it at one place. I can change it whenever I want before I run my code. And you cannot change them in your code anywhere else. Unfortunately, Python allows that. So therefore, maybe you don't understand it, but at least understand the meaning of you are giving it a name, and a name is more useful or easy to understand than a number. Okay. So that's how you declare constants. So that's another requirement of your code. I've asked for grammatically correct, clean and clear output messages because the guessing game was so small, but messages were poor, really poor. So I've given you my output. You can use my messages.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't care.
I was about to ask.
Yep, sure. I've left a note again in the assignment. I've said, yes, you can use my messages, everything, because I don't want you to make mistakes, but I want you to learn also. These are the messages I'll give. So just saying guess a number makes no sense. But when you say we are playing, so when you start, you say we are playing a guessing game. The computer has thought of a number. Please guess a number between 1 and 100. The user exactly knows what's going on. So if you look at my output, you'll see that there is a heading right at the top, right? So there's a heading right at the top. And I've told you, I want to know what are you doing? So the output will help you. That's another thing. I'm trying my best to give you whatever I can. At the end of the day, it's still you who have to do it. So I've given you some screenshots here.
I found that to be very useful, by the way.
Thank you. Like I thought that would help. So notice how when the program started, it says this program allows the user to enter marks of students in a course. I don't have to tell everything. Oh, it should be -1. There are 5%. It's just a general telling you what it does. It displays a grade book showing student number, marks, and average mark of each student. That's a heading. That's how your program starts, so that you know what my program is doing. Then look at the prompts. Look at the prompts now. And I've kind of given dashes and so on in between so that it is readable. It says enter student number, enter N to stop the program. It's telling you. So enter the student number. You're not saying anything, so it could be any number. It could be S1234, 12345, 123, comma, semicolon. It's a string. It could be anything. So you can't do any kind of checking on it except length. You can with regular expressions, but we haven't done it. So I'm just saying, okay, give me a student number. And then I say, okay, now you start entering it. But I said end at the first time itself, program stops. That's what is expected of you. You can stop your program anytime by entering end for the student number. And this end can be any combination of E and D in any caps, right? Uppercase or lowercase or combination. And again, we've already done it. You have it in your midterm solution if you don't know. If you haven't looked at your midterm solution, I told you to do quit and I've done it there. Right, so I've given you this one. The second one, see, the second one was bigger, so I couldn't give you a screenshot, but then I had to copy and give it to you. It says user does not enter any marks for the student by giving first assignment mark as -1, marks for student are entered. So again, the same program, S1234 is what I took. Notice how it comes out to be capital S1234 because I'm converting it to all upper, because I'm comparing with E and D, capital E and D. So everything is upper. And notice how I'm saying, please enter marks. Only a maximum of 5 assignments were given. You may enter -1 at any time, though, to stop mark entry. And look how I've said assignment 1 mark. How clear is that? So I'm asking the first assignment mark. You'll say, how will I do it? You'll write the word assignment. The one you're keeping a counter, mark is just mark, colon is just colon. I stop at the first go. I put a -1. The program, nothing for S1234. Finished. Now, so no marks. It gives me a message, no marks were entered, which is good to know. That's fine. That's what I did. It says, okay, now enter the next student number. I entered the next student number, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same messages come. I give 3 marks, 10, 10, -1. It says, give me the next number. I say end. Done. I have only 2 students. The grade center says student number S1234, number of assignments 0. How did I find it out? Length of my list. We've done the length, right? Student number S2345, number of assignments done were 2. Again, length. This is the list. Print the list and calculate the average mark using a for loop. So I've given you all kinds of inputs. So here, 5 assignments, all 5 assignments were allowed. You can't give a 6th one. If you write the correct loop, it will only ask you for 5. It won't go to the 5th one, 6th one. So here is giving you an example that only 5 assignments are allowed. For the next one, I just said end, and here are what comes for the student number. It also said that the student number is unique. I'll show you what that uniqueness is. So again, only 5 assignments, but a student could not have done all of them. So input can be stopped by -1. So you can give less than 5. As soon as you give a -1, it stops. So if you look at it, 10, 0, and 4, 3 assignments were done with the students. I've told you to round your average mark with 2 places after decimal. Look it up. There is a round function which may not necessarily work, but look up how to output your format, print statements. It's not a big deal. Look it up. Format my output, Python, and it will give you 10 examples. Hopefully you will understand how to do it. So I tried round first, but the problem with round was, are you aware of the round function? Round says round my number to 2 places, 1 place. But the problem with round was this. If I had an answer of 9, for example, a complete integer, it was only giving 9.0. It didn't say 9.00.
Well, that's because you have to specify with a comma.
Yeah, I did. Comma 2, but it wouldn't work.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's really weird.
It worked for mine.
Yeah, so it didn't work for me. So, but round is a function that is available that will give you however number of places you need after decimal. But try something with which, for example, I tried 10 and 8 as 2 assignments. So the answer was 9. It would give me a 9.0. It wouldn't give me a 9.00. And I was baffled by it. Yeah, because the answer is 9.
Because it only gives you the number of decimal places as needed.
As needed, right? So it didn't have anything. So it just put a 0 for me.
So did you always want to have 2 decimal
always
places?
Always. Right? Okay. You just have to use another print formatting. Okay. Just look it up. If you can't, I'll give marks for round also, but just so that you know. Here, look, I've got inputs. AA, invalid mark. 3.5, invalid mark. -2, invalid mark. I'm doing this with try except. And look at the messages. Invalid mark must be a whole number 0 through 10. Look at the messages. Like everything is clear. Then I give a 10 and 8 and a -1. So 12, 10 and 8 and a -1. No, 12 is out of range. That's also invalid, right? So anything that is invalid, a message should come up and it should keep asking. Notice how assignment 1, assignment 1, assignment 1, assignment 1, assignment 1 till I give a right value. So it keeps asking for the same assignment mark. And then it says 10 and 8, and I couldn't get a 9.00 with round. So I had to use a printf format. But I'm giving you an idea. Round function is available. And all you have to do is Google it. Format output in Python. And it will show it to you. I looked at it. I copied it. When I say copied, I used it. I couldn't copy it, of course. I had a different answer. I used it. It worked. Right? And again, if you get stuck, ask. I don't understand what this is doing, Anju. Ask. Here, regular output for 2 students, just normal regular output. S1, 2, 3, 4 did 4 assignments. S2, 3, 4, 5 did 2 assignments. The normal grade book is showing you both of them. So it could be anything, right? Now here, I said the student number has to be unique. So what did I do? I gave S1, 2, 3, 4, I gave his or her marks, and then I again gave S1, 2, 3, 4, and it said it already exists. You'll say, how will I check that? There is an in operator I'll show you today. Is the mark in my list? That's all you have to do. Is the mark in the list? Or is the student number in the dictionary? So S1, 2, 3, 4 is already entered in the dictionary. You again give an S1, 2, 3, 4. All you have to do is use the in operator. And it will check, are you in the dictionary? Oh, you're already in the dictionary. I can do nothing about it. It will give you a message and move on. Right? So I've given you all kinds of output here so that you can kind of maybe give my input. One, you can see messages, which I'm hoping will avoid grammatically error messages, and I'll see proper messages. That's one. And every time, notice how it says when the program starts, what does the program do? What does the program do? If you don't tell me what the program does, I have no clue what we are doing. But I hardly saw, I think, 4 students out of 70 said in the guessing game, this is a guessing game. Let's play a guessing game. Something like that. Let me know what you're doing. Right? You think about it. Like you think if you don't know what's going on, how will you infer what input is required and what output do I need to show? So the user has no clue. He's going to play a game. You play games all the time, whatever games. Don't you have instructions? Doesn't when the program starts or whatever gives you instructions of how to play it or something? Otherwise, like here it is, the game is there. I don't know what to do with it. And one, I don't even know what the game is called. You haven't even told me it is a guessing game. So all I see is a blink on the screen, wondering what do I do with it. So think about it from your viewpoint. Do you take crap? No. So why are you giving crap to the user? Right? So you have to think all these things. So because there were so many grammatical errors and spelling mistakes and input-output problems, I just kind of gave you my output so that you could, if you like, you can copy them. You can copy my messages as per se. Use them. It's not called copying. It's just me giving you my output and you can use it. If you want to create your own messages, sure, go ahead and do it. But complete, grammatically correct and clear messages are required and it will have marks for it. It tells you in the assignment. So do it that way. Okay, so you've seen, we've already done it. We've already done how to catch an error. So that's how you will catch if it is not an integer. Then inside there you will put an if statement that it should be greater than 0 and less than or equal to 10. Else you will give a message. Done, job done. And there will be a loop which says while mark is not equal to -1 and number of assignments is less than or equal to 5. Avoid using break statements. I forgot to say as a rule, do not use break statements. So I can't mark it now. If you do it, you do it. It's up to you. But break statements are a big no-no in the world. You don't use them. There are better ways of doing it. Take your counter. When the counter reaches 5, you have to stop. So you can do it. But again, it's up to you how you want to do it. Okay, so we were looking at a simple example here, which was my car, which was a dictionary. The first key is a string. The second is also a string. Now, is it a restriction that they should always be strings? No, there is no rule at all. The rule simply says there should be a key which is unique and there should be a value associated with it. That's it. So in the assignment, your key is the student number, which is a string, and your value is a list, which I'll show you. You can extract the keys if you like from a dictionary. There it is. You can extract the values if you like from a dictionary. There it is. And you can extract the items if you like from the dictionary. There it is. But this is not very helpful if it is only giving you in pair. Can you extract the key and the value as you go on? Sure. Here's another way. See, here is I've already used it, the in verb. So if the student number is already in your grade book, give a message. This student number already exists, and go to the next, ask the next student number. So there is your in verb, operator, not verb. It's the operator. All it is doing is it's checking, is the key makes in my car? If it is yes, you will get it, right? You are getting what its value is. If it is not, then you are just saying an invalid key. Now, just because I've done the get function there, I want to show you something else. You may be writing a get function without even kind of, doing an if or an except, which is not the right way. Whenever you want to work with something, always check, is it valid? There is a big rule in programming, GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. So if you try to just say print my, I'll just take this statement from here. Let's see what it gives me. I know there is no makes in my car. The key is called make. I haven't done any check. I haven't put it in a try except clause. I haven't put it in an if statement. I've just said print my car makes. Let's see what it does. Look what it says, none. No, that's an odd return value, but that's what happens. If it didn't find it, what did it say? None, I don't have it. Now, if you wanted to do something with the return value and it was none, now you'll have to check, was the return value none? So instead of doing that, why don't we put it in a try except or an if? Why don't we check it ourselves before even we use it? Because none makes no sense, but that's what is none. None is the return, what it returns. Get returns none if it cannot find makes, and makes is not in your dictionary. So this will result in a none value. And so how do I know what get does? Like, where will I find this information? Of course, you can Google it. What else? If I Google Python methods for dictionary, which I did, like, I just picked up the first one. There should be it on your website also. Here is get. I click on get, and get tells me. Get says returns the value for the specified key if the key is in the dictionary. And if it is not in the dictionary, it will return none. It tells me. So I know, right? So you may not know how a function or a method works, but you have to look it up. And you have to, guys. You're not in nursery. You can't say, oh, we were not taught this. You can't do that. Like, if I've told you that this is how you look up a method, then you should be able to look up any method. Now, look at something else. It says the parameters, there are a maximum of 2 parameters. The key to be searched and the value which is optional, value to be returned if the key is not found. So now you could kind of do this. If makes is not found, I want you to return, I don't know, you could say something like Audi, default value. You could do it, right? Though it's not the best, but you could do it. So suppose I didn't have anything in my, I didn't have something in my car. Let's say I didn't have the year, the model year. So you can say if the model year is not given, default to 2018 for model number, or model year, sorry. In the first one, I was getting a none answer. What I'll do is, look what I'll do here. I'll look for year, which I know is not there. Which I know is not there. But what will it print for me now? It will print 2018 because I'm going to give it a second optional parameter of 2018. So now instead of returning none, it will return this value. Sometimes it is very handy. You're looking for something, it can be found. You say, okay, return 0 if you don't find it, or return a -1 if you don't find it, so that I know it's not there. So you'll say, oh, I can do that here also. Sure, you can do. You can say if none, I got a none value here. I can always check if the return value was none. So I'm doing a print, but if something is returned, you can also do it this way. You know, you can save it in a variable. So you can save it in any variable. Model year, let's save it in model year. You can call your get function like this, like I did here. And then you can just do the print again And this time, instead of saying model year, you can go. There are different ways of doing it, but this is telling you a value is being returned. So when a function or a method returns a value, catch it. Otherwise, it is lost. You'll say, why didn't you catch it here? Because I printed it out here. So now I can say model year. I can give it a heading. Make it pretty. And show the value of model year. Notice how I'm using oh God, what did I do? This is what, here is where I was, model year. And show me this value of model year. Here I can do it this way also in two statements. A value is being returned, save it in a variable and then print it out. You could have done it here also. Put it in a variable and then check, are you equal to none? If it is none, it is not in the list. So look for the student number. And if the student number is already in the list, is it in the list? Yes, I don't have to do anything. So you can always find out. You can always use in. You can also use get. With get, if it doesn't find it, it will return none. And that will tell you, oh, the student is not in the list. But the in is easy. For finding out duplicate values, in is easy. Or you're saying, are you in the list? Like you would say it in English. Are you in the list? And it will work. So here is an example of get, another get. Now what will happen is when I run this program, if I haven't made any mistakes, oh, I have, it says get is not defined because silly me, I didn't say my car.get. It's a method. It has always to work with something. Where am I looking for? I'm looking in my car for it. See here. So model year is the message I was giving, and then I showed the 2018 again in this. So I have two print statements. That's the get method. That's how you use methods. So if you look at this site I went to, which you could have picked up from anywhere, look, there are some methods. There is an update that will tell you, oh, I can update my dictionary. There is a set default, which is not very intuitive, but it sets a default value. But there is the update, which will work like your append. So you have an update method in dictionary, like you have an append method in a list to add something to a list. So it's all available. You have to look it up. You just can't come to a class, listen and say, oh, I can do the assignment, and then do it at the 11th hour and you will be stuck. Time was given to you so that you start working on it. You ask me questions if there are any. You perfect it so that you can get good marks. And I can have good programs to mark. Right? Okay, so you know get method. Let's look at more things now. Okay, so here I had shown you how you can work with the keys, with the values, and with the items. The items were not very helpful if that's all I'm doing, getting the item and spitting it out. But if I want to look at the parts of an item, so item gets the whole one element at a time. Of this, if I'm interested in looking at the key separately and the value separately, which again you will require in your code, in your assignment, let me show you how it is done. See what I can do. You can also look at each key value pair. You can access key and values separately. That's what you will require in your dictionary when you print it out. I want to print out the key, and then I want to take the values, which is a list, and work with it. So here is how you do it. You still use the same method, but here, instead of one I can't think of better names because my program is not so good. I mean, I'm working with my car and there is not much in the car. But when you work, you can call it student number, comma, marks list. You're just giving them names. So you're saying what comes out of my grade book, the first thing goes into K, which is your student number. And the second part, the values, goes into V. So I've called it K and V. So now if I want to print it, see, I can say print. I'll show the value of key. The K has a value and show the V. There. I can access them in your dictionary. You can pick up each element and look at the key and the value separately. And all I need is a for loop. So I'll again do items instead of items here. So you will again need this in your assignment. You will again need it in your assignment. Why? Because once your dictionary is ready, you want to now pick up each element. Student number, list of marks. Sum them up, find the average, spit it out. Take the length, 0, no assignments were done. Otherwise, sum them up. So this is how you access each element, key-wise and value-wise. And it should work. Let's try it. I should actually close this every time so it's neater. Notice here. Here, this is what the year has a value 2018 is coming from somewhere else. Here, the make has a value Audi. The model has a value A4. The color has a value gray. Of course, if I was writing it properly, I would say the make is Audi. The model is A4. The color is gray. I mean, I would make it grammatically correct. But here I was showing you how to use the key and the value. So that's it. Now that means now you know how to access each element. So instead of has a value of, you can say is, and that looks fine. The make is Audi, the model is A4, the color is gray. And then after that, what you saw was coming from here. So you can put a print here just to let the user know we have finished here. So you can access only the keys. You can access only the values. You can access each item and print it out. You can access each item and look at its key and value. You can do all these things with the dictionary. Okay, now let's try it once again, just so that it was neat, but it was saying what it was doing. Here. There. Oh, I see the 1 is 250. What is this? 1 is 250. Let's see what is this 1 is 250. And the year is 2018. I didn't add anything to it, did I? Where are these coming from? Let's look at it. Something must be wrong somewhere. Let's go and look at my car. What is my, oh, it does have a few things. I thought it only had make and model. It has make, model, color, year. Oops, it already has an year. Okay, so it already has an year. So the default value of year, the 2018, so I should be getting, when I was looking for the get, I didn't use, I said get with makes. Okay. Year I said, if you don't find it, give 2018. So is it giving me 2016 in my output? Oh, it has more. It has an year. Then there are 2 years actually. Yeah. 2016 and 2018. Oh, I must have been showing you all the crap that you can even, the keys can be of any type and the values can be of any type.
Like what you showed us there last week was that it takes
the most recent year, right. So yeah, so it's already here. So when I'm doing a get here, I say get year. I've already given it a default value if it doesn't find it. Let's see what it does. So let's try it. It already has an year. I didn't know that. Yep, so that it falls to the default value. Oh, actually, this is not even the default value. It is the actual value. So let's change it just for the heck of it so that you can see it. Let me make it 2020 because it is already 2018 in your code. See, you made it 2018 here. So if it finds it, it will give you the value. If it doesn't find it, then it will go back to the default value. So when I do a get year, will it find year? Yes, it's 2018. It will find it. So it will print that out for you. So unfortunately, year was already present. I'll take another example then. But I want to show you that it falls to the default value. So here it won't fall. Year is already present. Where is it? It's still, yep, year is already present. So it's not falling to 2020 because year is already present. Your car already had a year. I didn't realize that. Okay, let's try to do something else which is not in your car. What else can be in a car? Make, model, year. So this is not a good example. If year is not present, that's not a good example. You know what I'll do? I'll do this. I'll remove year from your list. That way, I don't have to change anything else. I'll remove the year. Here, I've removed it. You can remove it, guys, too. And to prove that, oh, the color, the most recent, if you have 2 of them, I'll just make this as red. Serves the same purpose. That you can have 2 keys with the same name, but see what happens? It just replaces it. So color gray will be replaced by color red. Please do this, just because I've taken the example of year. Right? So that 1:2015 is an odd element, but it is there, and therefore it is coming up. So I've removed years, guys. So the color will now come as red. So this was to prove to you that keys have to be unique. Every key can have a value. So when it is unique and when I try to print it out, it will now print red for the color. So this one, I don't know what was I doing, 1 colon, but I mean, I was just showing you it could be any type. So here, now this example is correct. It says default to 2018 for year if not present in the dictionary. So I default to 2018 and I show that it works. If you don't try to do that, suppose you're looking for makes and it's not there, it will return a none value. Okay, sorry for that confusion. I didn't know there was an year in your list. There, right? So you can access items, keys, key value pairs. You can get something. Now I'll also show you a few more things, again, that will help you in your assignment if you want to do it. So here, instead of invalid key, you can always give a better message like this key is not present and so on and so forth. But again, this is just doing stuff for you, okay? Now I'm going to show you something which will help in the assignment, but I'm going to hard code it. Because I can give you the solution of the assignment. When you create a dictionary, it will look something like this at the end of the day. But I mean, I'm just taking it to be a hard-coded one. So okay, let's see what I want to do. I've created a dictionary called student marks. That's exactly what I'm expecting from you. Each student mark has a student number. Now the student number could be anything. I've restricted it to be a string. Of course, it could be crap also, but I just thought it would be nice to say S1234. Has it to be S1234? No, it can be anything. Your student numbers are only numbers, which will work too. But I wanted to bring to your notice that it is a collection of, it could be anything. A string can be anything, and there is no check on it. I can't check it. I mean, a string is a string. You could have said comma, semicolon, question mark, and it would have taken it, which is not a valid student number, but it would have taken it. You will say, can't I validate strings? You can validate strings. You will in a couple of weeks. I'll show you how to validate strings using regular expressions. Right? You can validate strings. It's tough, but I mean, it's logical. You're asking for somebody's phone number. What are you expecting? You're expecting, for example, in Canada, you're expecting a 10-digit number, right? Yeah, but you add spaces. You could have, yeah, people could add spaces. People could add round brackets. People can put dashes. Then you have to say, oh, it could come to mean any form. How do I check that it is 10 in size? There are 10 digits in it, and everything else is okay. You can have brackets and dash. So you are allowing the user to enter it in a particular way. And to validate strings, we use regular expressions. And it's a big topic. It's a tough topic. But again, I'll keep it simple for you. Think about emails. How can you validate an email? The emails have certain validation with them. All emails will have an @ They will have a dot something at the end. Now it could be Hotmail, it could be Gmail, it could be anything. You know what I mean? But at least it has an @ and a dot. You can at least check, oh, does it have an @ and a dot? It has to be an email address. You can't check everything else. So strings can be validated because strings, I'm asking for your name and you are giving me 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it a valid name? No. So what will I say? I'll say, I'll take your name, but everything in your name can only consist of letters and a blank. That's it. I'll restrict it. So that learning process you will do in another week or so. And so it's going to get tougher every week. It's not going to get lighter. We've already done the light things. We've already done the 3 pillars: sequencing, decision-making statements, and iterative statements. Sequencing, how do I do it? Iterative statements, while, for. Decision-making statements, if, else. Those are the 3 pillars of programming. The rest you have to think yourself. How do I use them? There are only 3 pillars in programming, nothing else at the end of the day. There are only 26 letters in the English alphabet, but does it stop there? No. You make words out of it. You make sentences out of it. You write essays. Same thing with programming. There are only 3 pillars of programming, but you have to work with them to create programs. People write operating systems. People write software programs. We are not even going there. We don't want to. We are not for that. We don't want to. But you should learn how to write a small Python script. You have to, guys. You can't avoid it. If you don't want to work in the IT department, that's different. That's a different story altogether. But I'm assuming you were here for something. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a dictionary in which every element of my dictionary has a student number and has a list. And this is something that will be, it's going all caps just because I'll change it to all upper before I use it. Now, the list of marks of this student, you could put anything in it. Really, it really doesn't matter. You can put anything with it. This student did 2 assignments, 5 and 6, right? This student didn't do any assignment. The third student did maybe all his assignments. And marks can repeat. Here, your dictionary structure is like this. You'll say, how will I build it? Ask the student number, ask the marks, put the marks in a list, and then add that element to your dictionary. But you'll say, how do I add it? I'll show you that too. You use the update method to add it, right? So let's try to add a new student to this list. So when you begin your program, the dictionary will be empty. How do you give an empty dictionary? Opening and closing curly brackets. Now read the value from the user, take the number, create a list of assignments, take that element and add it to your dictionary. Let me show you how you do it. But here, if I wanted to extract something, let's extract something. This is what I've asked you again in the assignment. Let's extract data from the grade book. I mean, I'm just calling it grade book. Here, I'll just say student marks. I'm kind of saying it grade book so that you can relate it. You've already learned that for loop. I'll just repeat it here. Okay, so for, I'm calling it student number because I don't want to call it K. K doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So my key is the student number. The list, I'm calling it marks. You can call it marks list or whatever. I'm calling it marks. Okay. Where are you picking it up from? You are picking it up from, oops, you are picking it up from the student marks. How do you pick it up? Use the items method. Now, how difficult is it to work with marks and to work with student marks? Nothing. Print it out. Print out the student number. And it was called student number. Good names help me remember them, right? And what do you want to do with the items, with your marks? I told you to find the average. Now, I'm not going to do it for you. At least you'll do some logic yourself. But I have it. It's a list. It's a list. Do you want me to print it out for you so that you can see it as a list? And I'll print it out in its easiest form. It's a list. You can do a for with it. You can find out its length. You can do whatever you want. So if I wanted to do this, I can even do this. I can say if, right? I can say if the length of my marks is not equal to 0. That means, oh, the student had some marks. Print it, right? Else, the student did not do any assignment. Here, you will need this in your code. This is how to extract or access data from this student list. This is your printing. Except that you have to do average. I'm only showing you the print. I'm only showing the list. So I can do the whole assignment for you, but you have an idea now how to do it. Let's try it. So what will it say? S1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. S2, 3, 4, 5. The student did not do any assignments.
Syntax error.
Syntax error somewhere.
It's going to say student. Is it supposed to be student comma marks or student dot marks?
Okay, so yeah, give me a minute. So here is this is one.
Yeah. For student number, is that supposed to be dot marks?
No. Two things are being extracted.
Oh,
so
okay.
Comma marks. Two things are being
Yeah,
extracted. Okay. Yeah. We are getting two things out of the items method.
Okay.
So items returns you the dictionary and you're picking up two at a time. Why two? Because each item is a pair. Right? So now let's try it. This is something you will need in your assignment. If it works, now you know how to do it. Okay. See, here it is. Look at my output. Do you see it? S1, 2, 3, 4 mark list. S2, 3, 4, 5, the student did not do any assignment. 6, 7, 9, and so on. There it is. That's how you extract elements from a dictionary. Now you know how to do that too. That's your gradebook being printed. All you have to do is now find out the average of that marks. Simple thing, use a for loop, sum them up, divide by the length, you get your average. Show it with 2 places of decimal. Right? Job done. So it's not difficult, but you have to understand. Maybe the difficulty is you have to understand what am I doing, and that's the dilemma for some of you. I'll kind of give it a grade book heading so that then it's easy to read. Here I've already almost written your function of printing in the assignment. Incomplete, but that's what it is. Now just again so that you say, oh, how do I put something? I'll show you how to add a new item to your dictionary. So if you wanted to add something, I'll do it right here. Now, what do you want to add? You want to add a pair, right? You want to add any pair. You can add any pair you want. Just let's take any variable and do it. So I'm going to take new student, right? I'm going to form, I know how it looks like. So I'm going to say Anju is my new student and she did assignments. She got a 6, a 7, and an 8, and she did 3 assignments. What have I created? I've created a new student. So when you ask for student number and you ask for marks, you just create a new student. Just like that I've done. And now if I want to add this student to the dictionary, notice my syntax. I've exactly used the same syntax that is the syntax of my list element. All you have to do is this. Take your dictionary, which is called student marks, and use the update method to add that new student. And it will get added. It's like append. In list, you had an append method. What did append do? Append added an element to the list. What were the elements of the list? It could be anything. But now here, every element of my list looks like this. It is a key and a value. You should add it according to what I think. I'm not sure if I told, I don't know, but there it is. Let's try it. So my name should be added to the list and it should come in the grade book. Here I am. So what will you do in your code? You will start with an empty list. You will ask the student number, the marks. You will create a new student kind of object, variable, and then you will just update your dictionary. It will keep adding. Job done. Another, you know how to, now taking input is something we've done so many times. But this is almost 50% of your assignment hints that I'm giving you. So there is the update method. What does update do? Works like append. Again, if you don't know what update do and you want to read a little more about it, here is the update method. It says the update method updates the dictionary with the elements from another dictionary object. So what did I do? I created another dictionary object in a sense. If you kind of look at it, what have I done here? I've created a dictionary object. I put curly brackets around it, so it's a dictionary. There is only one object inside it, one element inside it. So I created a dictionary object, and they're called objects, okay, just because it's a structure. And or another iterable. You can kind of ignore this for now just because there are other ways of doing it, but we'll take this one and it just updates it here. That is the update syntax. Name of the dictionary which you want to update. For us, it was marks list or whatever, student marks or whatever, dot, name of the method, and what do you want to update it with. It says the update method takes either a dictionary or an iterable object of key value pairs, generally tuples. We haven't done tuples, but you can add tuples to a dictionary. I didn't even do tuples with you because I said list was more than enough. There is a lot you could do, but I'm also restricting myself to things that you can understand. You have to know them. What's an integer? What's a float? What's a string? What's a list? What's a dictionary? These are small things and you have to know them, guys. Not attending classes and blaming it on the teacher and saying we are not programmers, I don't understand, it will not help. It won't. It won't. Everybody who's in class today has taken extra effort to do something. And that's why you are here. You want to learn. But if there is anything that you don't understand, let me know and I'll try. A student came yesterday and he said, okay, you do an example in class, give us 10 more questions and we will do it. Why am I looking for questions for you? You go and look for questions for yourself on the web. So that means with everything I do, I create 10 questions for you. Like, I mean, are you babies? No.
That sounds like a lot of work.
And it's a lot of work. Believe me, writing an assignment is a lot of work. It took me the weekend to write that assignment that I wrote for you. And I had to do it before I gave it to you because I wanted to be sure it worked. So to formulate it, and still I've missed out things. For example, I was realizing, oh, I didn't ask for naming conventions. Okay, forgot it. No worries. I didn't say, please do not use break statements. Okay, forgot it. That's okay. So you have to polish it, and it takes time to create an assignment which is clear, clean, asking exactly, and especially for students who don't understand programming, to make everything clear. Giving you outputs, writing my program, like what else can I do? I have no clue. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what else I can do. Maybe you can help me. Maybe students who are attending class, rather than cribbing, help me. How else can I do it? I mean, that's why I asked for your input. The input was asked so that you can give me ways, oh, this can improve it. But all that I read was crying about the midterm because midterm wasn't done well by many students. And what was in it, I don't know. But again, it's me, right? I understand it because I have written it. So if there is a language barrier, or if there is a Python language barrier because it's new for you, you can always ask. I kept asking, are the questions clear? Ask me anything on the question. Don't ask me the solution, but ask me the question. Anyway, it's up to you. Students are students. When we were students, we also used to complain, and it will always happen. Okay, there it is. I take my work very seriously, guys. So I don't like it when I'm doing my work and I hear, oh, you are not doing your work. You know what I mean? Like, you also have to do your work to get it together. So I'm doing so many things in dictionary. Now you expect me to make 10 more assignments just for dictionary for you? It won't happen. It cannot happen. What you will do, you will Google, you will go to various sites. There are so many tutorials. You will pick up examples from there. You will type them yourself. You will do them. You will make mistakes. You will rectify them. You will ask me, and you will learn from it. That's how programming is done. You were taught multiplication once or twice. Can you multiply now? Yes. You were taught divisions once or twice. Can you do division by hand now? Yes. And that's what I'm doing. I do an example with you. That's the best way of learning programming, doing. Anyway, so here you have more from me. Another part. But don't copy and paste and give me this stuff just because it won't fetch you anything. If you're not showing me the average or whatever, then you're not getting anything. Okay, so you will lose marks, and that's another thing. Midterm copy paste from all programs we had done in class. Okay, let's move forward. Clear? So you know how to get an element. You know how to add an element to a dictionary. Now you know it. You know how to print the elements of a dictionary. Only keys, only values, both keys and values. You can actually create a list of the keys, though it's not required in the assignment, but I can also create a list of the keys. So suppose I wanted to just I wanted to find out the student numbers in my grade book. You can do it. So let me show it to you. So suppose I wanted to say print list of student numbers in the grade book or in the class. Now I could extract, I have a function, I have a method which is called keys and I could get it. But there is another thing, just so that you know, you can do list and you can convert, take your student marks and you can convert the student marks into a list. It picks up the keys only. There, it will give you a list of student marks as a list. So list is a function that converts the keys into a list, though you could have used the key function also, the keys method also. So you have an option, you could have used it. Come on. You could use the key method. We know how to extract keys. But to get a list structure. Keys was basically, I think the keys also returns the list structure if I'm not mistaken. But you can do this. Let's try it, what it does, but I'm almost positive. Let's see how it puts that. It was called student marks dot keys. Let's see how it prints it out. I don't know if it automatically gives you a list. Here. Let's see if it works. What does it do? Is it in some if else? No, we are okay. Oh, it shouldn't be in the for also. It will print it every time. There, it shouldn't be in for, otherwise it will do it 3 times. I only want to see it once. Oh, it just says dict keys in front of it because that's the return type. The return type of the keys method is dict keys, keys of the dictionary. So it's not so, it's a little untidy, whereas if I use a list, it's tidy. So this is saying it's also mentioning the name of the return type in front of it. That's what it returns. I showed it to you last time. I think I had forgotten what it was called. It is called dict keys, dict items, and dict values. So if you only want a neat version of a list, there it is. See? So I use the list function to convert the keys into a list. So I'll kind of keep it there for you so that you can see it. But this wasn't too neat because it says dict keys, whatever. Okay, let's move forward. You know what? Maybe take a break here because then I'll start to use a little more methods, show you a little more things, and then I'll have to stop after 3 minutes anyway. Okay. Any questions for me till here? We've done part of your assignment, like we've done quite a bit. We've done how to extract elements. We've done how to add an element to the dictionary. All you have to do is take input. I've done a try except with you. I've done an if with you. I've done the in operator with you. All you have to do is put it together now. So the best way would be this: jot down, write a pseudo algorithm, right? They're called algorithms. Write pseudo code first. Write it in English or Hindi or whatever language you understand. Write it down. French or Portugal, whatever. I have so many kind of students in my class. Once you have your algorithm or the steps to be followed written down, now start converting them into Python language. Right? So if I've asked for a function, write a function. If I've asked two functions, all you have to do is define a function that does this, define a function that prints it. Very easy, they're not tough. But again, having said that, saying it's not tough, it could be tough for you. If you are still not comfortable with functions, I'll try to do again, a couple of them again today. And even then, if you cannot do it, write a straight program top to bottom. Do everything in one go. Try that. Right? What will you lose? A little marks for functions being absent, but the logic will be there. But try to understand what is the use of a function. It does something. So if it does something, would you like to put it in a box and say, do it, do it, do it? Or would you like to, every time you have to do it, write it yourself, write it yourself, write it yourself? Of course not. So you put it in a box and all you have to do is press a button, do it. That's the use of a function. It does a job, press the button, it will do the job. So it's useful. I could use it, Ian could use it, somebody else could use it in class. And that's what the library is full of. How are you using all these functions and methods? The length function and the update and the, somebody wrote them for you. They thought they were good functions or methods. Everybody who creates a dictionary would like to add an element to it. Any user who creates a list, any programmer who creates a list would like to add an element to the list. So think of it, if functions were not written, if methods, which are like functions, they're just called methods in OOPS paradigm, if they were not written, where would you be? You would be writing them every time, and that's what we did 30 years back. There were no sort, there was no search, nothing. Now all you have to do is use the sort method. Remember, there was a sort, there was a reverse sort. We had to do it ourselves. Every program we wrote, we had to write sorting ourselves. So we know the concept. There's a binary search, there is a sequential search, there is a merge sort, a selection, insertion sort. So we had to learn all those algorithms and then code them.
Oh.
But now look at you, you have so many resources. So use them. So I'm not writing anything for sort, I just use the sort method. Why would I do it? So learning a language is two parts. You learn how to code and you learn how to use what is already in the library so that you don't reinvent the wheel. So thankfully you have thousands of resources on the internet. We had none. None 30 years back. Believe it or not, none. Our textbook. If I can do it with one textbook, you can do it with thousands of resources. Make up your mind of doing it rather than cribbing, and you can succeed. You have to do it. If not this semester, next semester. What if you get me again next semester? You'll cry your heart out, right? Or in the winter. Changing one teacher to another may not be the solution. The solution lies in understanding it. But sure, if you want to try it with somebody else, maybe you'll understand it better, or maybe the teacher is just more lenient, or say, I don't care. But I want my students to learn Python the right way. That's my aim. Whatever I teach, I'm serious about how I teach it and what I do. Maybe that's not the attitude. Python is fun, but you have to learn it before it is fun. Okay? So sure, the course I think will run again in winter. It will run in fall also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, because semester 1 intake, we have a semester 1 intake in the summer. It's a semester 2 course, so it will run again in fall.
Yeah, but there'd be co-ops in theory.
Oh, you guys go on co-op?
Yes.
Okay, so it will run again in winter. Winters I don't teach. You're safe there. Somebody else will teach it. I don't know. Right? So if you want to go that route, sure, go ahead. Maybe I'm just not the teacher that you would like to have, which is perfectly okay. But you know what? At the end of the day, you will have to practice. It's all on you. For loops will remain for loops, while will remain while. Ifs will remain if. You still have to think of the logic and do it yourself. Nothing will change. Maybe exams will be easier, maybe assignments will be easier, and you will pass. But when you go out in the real world for a job, then what will you do? Change employers. Right? That's not the solution, right? But sure. Okay, so we'll take a 20-minute break and then come back and do a few more things with dictionary. I'll show you the power of dictionaries. 3 lines code can do wonders. So I'll show you, and that's what you have to learn. Hopefully you will appreciate it.
Can I borrow you for a moment, Andrew?
Sure.
Yeah, try to like screw with my program. I can get a.
Oh, that's good.
I tried to make it emulate yours.
Okay, so it's stopping at 10.
Oh, you can type in whatever you want.
Then it won't stop, right?
Yeah, for the student, it can be any
Yeah,
student.
yeah.
Because it doesn't check.
Okay, so I can go to a maximum of 5.
You're being very kind to it.
Yeah, let's try. Let's give wrong data. Let's give -1 is enough.
Yeah, minus one you can give. You just go to the next. I actually really like the fact you include the output so that I knew what was being expected and I could emulate that behavior.
Yeah. And maybe I don't give any marks to this question. Okay, good. Looks good to me.
And if you've got the, now I didn't do a, I didn't use the dictionary update. Instead, what I did was,
What do you add then?
oh, because you can specify in the dictionary file itself that the student number gets paired with grades. So like the student number acts as the key, right? So whichever student number you're currently working on, when you do equals grades, in this case.
But how do you add the student number to the dictionary? You just do this
Well,
and it gets added?
No. I mean, there's more going on. Like this is inside, like the function that runs all the grades and everything. Grades is a list. So basically what you're saying is
But
for
here,
that.
I understand this. You're saying assign these grades to this student number, right?
Yeah.
But where did you put the student number in the dictionary?
Well, the student number happened earlier on. So like as you go through the program, you know, technically this loop isn't necessary. I just like to put everything into a main loop in case you want to add anything later. So as long as adding students is true, which is like the initial, it starts the process of student number. You grab the input, which has to be a string. If the student number, so the grades, that's what you do.
Here is the else.
Yeah. Well, that's to kick it out of everything, and then if it's good, it does not equal in the program.
But how does that student number gets added? Where is your dictionary that you're using? So there is the students, right?
Yeah.
So this automatically puts the student.
Yeah, because it's the one that you're currently working on, right? And then it'll automatically iterate through. Like it
But
won't
it's just a
overwrite
string.
it. Yeah.
It's just a string, right?
Yeah, for the first part, because that's just their key, right?
Yeah,
The
but
student
you can
number
just
is
do
all-
this and this string gets added to the dictionary.
Yeah, because that actually counts as the key. So basically what I'm saying is the students, you can put anything there. Like
Yeah,
that's just
yeah,
the
yeah.
key that you're using. And the key will equal the grades. So you're just associating the grades with the key, and the key just happens to be the student number.
Now tell me, the outer loop, isn't it redundant because you already
No,
have
the
it?
outer loop is definitely redundant. I always like to package everything into one big loop because one day, I mean, I could erase it and just
No,
type
no,
it
I'm
again
just
and it'll
asking
work.
because we have an outer loop which says I'll end at end.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I could definitely remove that. It's just to have it because if I wanted to add in, you know, another function right here, I just start here. And I continue adding it. It's more like, because I like to have everything packaged inside the main loop.
Yeah, I'm going to try what you did there with that and see if it
Yeah.
works.
Well, it does.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that's strange, right?
Yeah, because that's actually how, when I was reading up on how to do it, because obviously we didn't have this class before.
Yeah.
That's how they recommended doing it, because that way you always pair the key.
So
that
you're
you put
basically
in
saying,
with-
yeah, okay, let me try.
Because that way you define the key every time. So you can have whatever key you want there.
So if I wanted to add your name,
So that way if you want
And-
to add a mixed list, it's easy to do because you can put in any value you want inside that. So, yeah.
Let me try.
I mean, it's functionally the same as an update.
And it's easier.
Yeah.
More than functionality, I'm saying, oh, it's easier, but it's not so. To me, update makes more sense because it's saying I'm adding a student. This is not so intuitive. This is actually saying assign a value to a key, but the key doesn't exist yet in the.
Well, the key exists as soon as you run that function, right? Because you're telling it, this is the key, now attach it to this.
Yeah, but I mean, just saying the name of the dictionary and putting it in square brackets. Let's see.
This is how my brain works.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't know about it, but I'm just trying it. Like if it works, then that's one of the easy ways of doing it.
Yeah.
When I work with a data structure, I usually say there should be a method to add or whatever.
Yeah, because what you could do then.
No, yeah, it has.
Using that same format, you can be like students and be like student number and then give it a value. Right?
Yeah.
And then the line right underneath, it could be like, students and then be, teacher. And then assign a teacher right after it, right? And then you can see how it adds the different key values, right? So you can see how it pairs.
Especially in a nested dictionary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because like grades is a list, right? So basically I'm just saying, make this list.
Assign it to something.
To the student number.
Yeah, but nowhere did you add the student number in the dictionary. You just assigned it and it automatically got added.
Yeah, it's the same as just like you're just appending it.
Appending it, yeah. Yeah, it does. I just appended your name, it does. Oh, that's interesting to know, yeah.
Yeah, because to figure out how to do all this stuff, I had to I had to read.
Yeah, exactly. And I looked for methods. I didn't even I said, oh, there should be a method. If there is a method in the list, if there is an append method, there has to be a method. So I found out that update and I didn't even
Yeah, and I guess for the, because as you mentioned in class to get the 2 decimal places, I use it took me a while I did it right now. It's like the F.
Yes.
And then,
percentage point to F.
And then colon dot.
Yeah.
I guess, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
I played with it during class.
Yeah. I found it too. I had to look it up too because I was trying, because we've done it, right?
It's either going to be that or it's going to use, apparently you can do decimal, but decimal seems more complex to do the same thing. So of course you need to get the average first and round it. Otherwise you're not going to get an accurate.
So is round working?
Yeah. So all I did for round is I just said round to do 2 decimal places, right?
Oh, okay.
So if you have a result that's like 4.6666, it gives you a 4.67.
Okay, I'll show you another way. Java way.
Okay.
Google it. Say format output Python. I didn't have to use round. Where did I pick it up from? I think I went to Stack Overflow.
That's always a good place to pull stuff.
Not necessarily. Okay, let's go down. They had given you. See here. Familiar to our Java thing, you can say percentage point to F, and then you can write the name of the variable.
Oh, okay. Well, that worked too.
Yeah, that's easier. Then I don't have to
Yeah,
round
that's easier.
So I was looking for this. So, I mean, I can't remember where I got it, but you say percentage, they've given strings, you'll find real numbers somewhere. So it will be percentage point to F, like we did.
Yeah, and then it
Java.
automatically.
But this was new. You have to say percentage again. Instead of comma, you say percentage, and then you write the name of the variable average.
Oh, okay.
So this was a little different.
Yeah.
There we do it, we don't write percentage in front of it. Here you put the percentage.
Okay.
And then you don't have to round it or do all that manipulation.
Yeah, I mean, it's an extra line, but yeah, if there's a better way of doing it, then it's always nice to hear it because I just want to make sure it rounded it before it truncated.
Truncated. So, but I think this one also, okay, so you are saying that this one may truncate it rather than round it.
Yeah, like
I see what you mean.
Yeah, because that will just truncate it, right?
Yeah,
so
that will just.
So I wanted to make sure I rounded it before I chopped off anything else or added anything. Of course, if you have like a nice even number, like 3.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, you've done it a little. Yeah, but that's what I was looking for because that's what we did. Like that's what I'm more accustomed to. But yeah, and there were other things.
Well,
you could
ways to do it.
Exactly, because I found another way. There was something called string.format also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was another thing.
There's a couple ways I saw.
Yeah.
It's just that one just seemed like.
I think this is the first one I encountered, and I said, "Oh, it's like Java."
Yeah.
So I just used it, right? By Java, it's also in C#, like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
The only thing is we have to put a percentage after the, in front of a variable name.
So did you want me to remove the main loop that I like to have?
No, that's fine. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay. Yeah, other than I'm done.
Good.
There's
Just
no magic numbers. Even when it says give a maximum value of whatever, I just like pull the constant and make it a string.
Yep. Everything has to be your 0, your 10, your 5,
Yeah,
maximum number of
-1
assignments.
is
-1 could be
exit,
okay, yeah, but
exit,
-1, yeah.
exercise.
Stopping condition. Yeah. I did kind of the same thing.
All right, I'm good.
But so
I'm good. Yeah, I mean, it took an afternoon, but it wasn't like I was working on it straight the whole afternoon. Like I
Yeah.
took lunch in the middle,
like I said, I mean 3, 4, 5 hours just to polish it.
Yeah, I figure probably like to get it done completely in terms of like really working on it, maybe 3.5.
Yeah. So that's what it took me to polish it and everything. It took me around 4 or 5 hours because I was making the assignment and doing it. So
because I spent 5 hours on it, but I took like lunch.
Yeah. Same with me. I had my computer open. I was making the assignment and so on.
Well, that's
so.
what I found I learned better though. I mean, like you just kind of like have it there, work
Yeah.
away on it.
And therefore, that's what I said. Take it home, work on it, and it's a big one. Like the other one, guessing game was a small thing, so you could do it in 10 minutes if you wanted. But maybe in future, at least for this class, because it's an intro class, maybe I should not do in-class assignments. Here, take it home, think about it, and do it because it's easy for me, but maybe it's not easy for the.
Yeah, like taking it home.
Just take it.
Like sit down.
Yeah, just sit down.
Sit down for a while. I did allow it.
It feels rushed.
But in class, both those assignments were allowed till midnight anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, but again, give a day.
Yeah, but we have other classes, right? So,
Yeah.
So it's easier if just like okay, you have a week, you can go grind away. If you sometimes you encounter a strange problem. Like I didn't have any major issues with this luckily, but sometimes as your program, all of a sudden you realize.
Or exactly,
like,
you never program right.
For the past couple hours, like it's fundamentally incorrect, so you have to rebuild.
But the two ones that we did before were really easy ones. Like
those ones
addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, nothing. Guessing game, basically one input, one if statement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this one, I thought maybe that's what is stressing the students, that they have to finish by midnight. So let me make a bigger one. Let me give it more percentage. Here, take it home and do it.
Yeah, just give us like a week, give us a bigger one, and then we can play around with it.
But I don't know. Let's see how it works out. Like I can only try. When you teach for the first time, you can try things, right? Hopefully.
And I remember Tim. One of the things he made us do is when you mentioned about the sorting. Tim made us figure out how to do a quick sort on our own.
Oh. See, we come from a different era. For us, programming means thinking a lot.
Yeah.
Things are becoming easier now, so that's fine. But I know all my sorting algorithms: insertion sort, quick sort, merge sort.
Yeah.
All my sorting algorithms. And those concepts have given me the base.
Yeah, because initially, like it's like, how would you sort this? And people instinctively basically use like bubble sort.
Yeah, bubble
It's
sort.
just like, you scan down the
Scan
list,
take
and
a
then,
bubble,
but then it's
yeah.
really inefficient. And then when you get to quick sort, you're splitting it up.
Merge sort is, quick sort is another one. Yeah, you're right. Quick sort is the most efficient one.
Usually, it depends. Apparently, MIT has come up with some other sorting methods that are, well, it depends on the size of the data, but are better at sorting large data sets than quick sort.
So as I said, and again, all these are concepts, but that's not, I mean, this is not a university. So when I came, I kind of taught a university way, but then I kind of backed out. I said, that's not what these students want.
Yeah, I don't know. If network engineers don't think they're going to encounter this at all.
Of course they are.
Because even before I was in this class, my buddy Ryan, he's actually went to school here too, like he's a network engineer. And he's telling me that like he works for the Canadian government and Python is the way they manage multiple devices over the network. That's the way they do it.
And you can tell them how it does unless they know the language. So they have the introduction courses to learn the language.
Yeah.
And then use it when you have to use it wherever, right?
Yeah, I mean being at least familiar with it. Because if you don't know how to program at all,
Then,
and then you encounter some code, you'll have no idea what's going on if you don't understand it.
I don't know. I can only try my best, but you know what? I'm not very happy with what's going on, but oh well.
Anyway,
I can do what I can do.
have you done it?
No.
No, man.
I'll start it tomorrow. I've been playing Path of Exile too much.
Yeah, you're pretty much committing to an afternoon.
Yeah. I expected as much, honestly.
Afternoon. Unless you screw up big. But then she gave you some like really
Yeah.
that I didn't have. I'm like, that's not fair. That would have made my
That's why you
struggle a
gotta
lot less of a struggle.
That's why you gotta wait till the last minute. That's the secret. Because you wait till the afternoon before
Shouldn't.
it's due.
Shouldn't have
That way
done
you have other resources.
You get that burning desire to not fail.
Exactly. What I should do is take that burst of adrenaline, get your heart pumping,
Yes.
get some blood flowing, get some ideas. The secret.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Instructions. Yeah, especially because some of the things that she did are different than how I did it. So I was asking her, I'm like, is this still good?
Oh, no, I have to go to the dentist.
Oh, it's not that bad.
I might have cavities though.
Oh,
I'm
Yeah,
they're
that's
not
not-
sure. I don't know what that means.
they're not sure if there's cavity?
Yeah.
Alright. One of the students said that he lost his key. Is there a key up here on a black?
Oh, here it says Scotiabank card and key with chain. I brought it to security guard office in e-basement.
Okay, that's probably him then.
It says key with a chain. So the cleaner has given the e-building in the basement. There is a security
Okay,
lost and found thing.
I'll let him know.
Yeah. If that's what he's looking for, right?
Yeah, because he sent me a message on Facebook.
And I don't know if the Scotiabank card is also his, but anyway, they found a Scotiabank card too. Ouch.
Okay, I don't know. I'm actually getting all of my windows done today.
Oh, okay.
Windows and 2 sliding glass doors.
3 of our windows are also going bad, so
Man, it's not cheap.
it's not cheap. Each window is like we have to do it because there's a kind of a film form. So between the two, I think they have 2 things in a
It's
window.
only a 2 panes.
2 panes, yeah. So I think something is going wrong because you can see it's all going foggy.
Yeah, that usually means the seal's gone.
Seal's gone. Yeah. So 3 of them have gone.
See, with us, it was because I'm renovating the whole house basically. Right?
Okay.
And so ripped up the floor and whatnot because have fun like that. Well, I did the popcorn ceiling, put in 25 pot lights, took down a wall.
You did everything
plugs.
yourself?
Not the electrical. I didn't
Yeah.
do the electrical.
Yeah.
But I ripped up the floor. Like, you got all new kitchen, quartz countertops.
Oh my God. We haven't done a lot. It's now 12 years old, I think, 12 or 13. It was a new house when we got it built,
Well, this
but
place is like in order to pay for school, we sold the old house. I actually made pretty decent money before coming back to school. So we sold like my 2,700 square foot house,
Mhm.
and then bought a 1,200 square foot bungalow.
Okay, okay.
But it's a fix me up. So now we put another 70,000 into it
To fix it up,
to
yeah.
fix it up. And it's, the prices are ridiculous for like houses. Like I paid more for the fix me up bungalow than I paid for my other house.
Oh, yeah.
When I
Yeah, houses have
bought
gone
it.
up a lot. Like people are selling and they in our area, and they are like,
Yeah,
like
numbers are huge. So
huge.
it's ridiculous. So I bought my house originally for like $394,
Mm-hmm.
and we sell it for like $700. Then we buy a fix me up bungalow for $430.
Yeah, which was more than the
And then we
three.
have to put $70K into it to get up to like what my wife wants.
Exactly.
And even then I do a lot of the work myself. So
Yeah.
so what happened was, so I went up the floor, and then when it rained on a certain day, just like the way the wind
Yeah, yeah.
blew, we're getting water underneath the sliding glass door.
Oh shoot.
So I'm like, I can't put down a new floor because now we've got water that would damage the
Damage,
new floor.
yeah.
So it's actually a good thing that happened because it doesn't happen very often. It's like
Mm.
every once in a while the conditions are perfect. we
Yeah,
get
yeah.
Some water underneath. So then we have to replace the sliding glass doors. We have 2 sets that are the same age. So it's like, now you do both doors. So all of a sudden you're like $4,000 in. And then it's like, well, if we're doing that, then might as well do all the windows. And then
Where are you getting it from?
Kempenfeld.
Kempenfeld windows?
Yeah. We got 3 different quotes. They all come in pretty close to the same.
Okay.
Um,
I was thinking to get it done by the original guys who did it. What's their name? It starts with a P. Oh God, I forget. They're Windows guys, and those are the guys that put in new windows when these houses were made. The Gregor homes.
Yeah.
I forget I forget what they're called,
yeah,
but
because there's like, I think it's North Star. There's another one that we got quoted for. Yeah.
But we have to get
the
this.
problem is now the Green Ontario incentive is gone because of that board. Just like chopped
Uh-oh.
it down. So unless you already had a contract,
Oh,
in
okay.
our case we did. So we had to have a contract signed ahead of time and have an install date before August 31st. Otherwise, we wouldn't get the rebate.
Okay, the rebate. We just got our.
Because the rebate's pretty substantial.
Substantial.
Like they are like it's $500 per window.
Oh, that's good.
But to get the windows that qualify costs you like
Cost more.
$1,200
Yeah,
per
exactly,
window.
exactly. That's what I was just going to say. We got
But
our
the
heater
thing
and
is
everything
that
changed.
getting the mid-quality window that doesn't qualify, that's still a good window. Was like $700. Getting the high-end one was $1,200. But
So
then
at the back of the day,
evens it out.
you're still paying 700
Yeah,
after
but
the
then
rebate.
It didn't qualify for the sliding glass doors. So I'm
Okay,
like,
yeah.
whatever. But then it's also, so we have a kind of like an arching window.
Yeah.
So that only counts as one window. So that one window is $4,300 on its own and only qualifies for $500 of rebate.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
It's so expensive.
I'm like, I hate
Like
it.
we had one window that was bad, now it's 2, and now I noticed a third one.
And that's the problem because they're all the same age. Like
Yeah,
the ones that face the sun will crack first.
Yeah.
But the builder windows tend to be the cheapest possible.
Possible,
windows
you're
that
right.
you can get by. Like you're supposed to expect like 20 years from your window. The ones that I'm getting put in have a 25-year warranty.
Yeah, we did that with that roof. The roof went after 10 years. The roof from the builder.
I actually just put a new roof too.
Yeah.
Skylight, because the house is 24 years old. The roof had never been done.
Oh,
So
definitely it needed to be
so
done.
we just got the roof done.
Yeah, we got
the
it
skylight
too.
replaced.
So you're spending so much after buying it. Hopefully you'll have something left from that.
Well, I mean, it looks like the cost after the house now cost us $500,000.
Yeah.
Right? So, whatever. That's just how it is. But we do back onto green space. Our lot is 210 feet deep. We're
Oh,
still in Barrie, so like getting a lot like that is rare. So
Yeah.
we're back onto Bear Creek.
right.
So it actually turned out to be
But
a
you
good-
still have, do you work part-time?
No.
No.
No, as soon as it's hard too, because once you've been making good money, it's hard to go back. You'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna go get a job some random place, 15 bucks an hour. Like it hurts.
Yeah. So you did work for some time.
Yeah. I was working as a project manager at a print company.
Okay. You were here for the Copa Cooper a few years back, weren't you?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
So what happened was, there was the recession when I graduated. And
Oh, okay.
so it was hard to get a job. And then my uncle
Mhm.
offered me a job, like, okay, in the meantime, work in a warehouse. So I got a job at some warehouse, and it wasn't that great, but I noticed they had no inventory system of the warehouse.
Okay.
So on the weekend one day, what I did was just took a big piece of cardboard with a marker, and I drew out a 3-dimensional array of the warehouse. So I associated everything. Then I moved that into an Access database and made it searchable. So I created an indexed inventory system that they then started using. So after I did that, they're like, oh yeah, you're not meant for the warehouse. And I got into client relations. I became a project manager and account manager, and that's where I had left off. But the reason I left is because they were demanding these 70-hour work weeks all the time. Like I only took 2 weeks vacation in 5 years. Like that kind of it was
getting too much.
Terrible. But then because my uncle owned part of the company, it would be like a betrayal if I then said, okay, thank you for this experience. I'm going to go work for a competitor.
Yeah. Right.
But I did do a little bit of, I didn't do a lot of programming really, but I was the techier guy at the office. So, and actually something that I noticed that's in your syllabus is CSV format. CSV format is something I used a lot. So anytime you're dealing with marketing agencies or Canada Post or anything that they're passing addressing data back and forth.
That's all commerce, separated by commerce.
Everywhere. It is everywhere because your typical person wants to be able to load it into Excel.
Into Excel, yeah.
Excel or Access. It's over like 65,000 records or whatever.
Yeah.
So the amount of CSV usage I found to be very surprising because I felt like in
all in all it is comma separated, right?
It's just everywhere.
Everywhere. Oh, okay.
Everywhere. It's incredible. And yeah, so if you got decent with Excel, you can manipulate data. So Subway was my big client that I worked on. It was a multi-million-dollar client that I had. All of their store data is in CSV format. But then the data itself was pretty complex. So you had to be able to sort it because every Subway store had, I think it was 48 different attributes. So when you were trying to figure out, okay, they're doing an entire marketing rollout for all of Canada, you had to know how much of each material to print. And Subway itself didn't actually know. They expected us to be able to break down, give them all of the numbers and the cost of everything. So I spent days at a time staring at spreadsheets, sorting the data, trying to come up. And if I'm wrong somewhere, it's
doomed.
It's big money, it's 6-figure mistakes.
Yeah, oops.
So it was stressful. Luckily, I didn't actually make any big mistakes. I think the biggest mistake I made was a $20,000 mistake, which isn't that big. But I think it was. I actually blame the information they'd given because it wasn't very clear. Because they just say this type of store should get this type of store should get that, this type of store should get that, but then you have it broken down by the different markets. It gets incredibly complex. So I still used my programming education quite a bit. If nothing else but the logical sense.
Exactly, the logical sense.
And understand what I'm doing. It translated.
That's what I said. That logical sense has to come from within. You have to have that for programming.
Yeah, so the skills you get, even if you go through the COPA program and you don't program, you can bring those logical skill sets into a business environment and do very well. So
after you finish this program, then you will look for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go straight network engineering. Is the plan.
So this is your second semester, right?
Yeah, it's only the second semester. Yeah.
Still up year 2.
Yeah, still a while to go, but it's just how it is. My goal is to get the CCIE from Cisco. I also am working my way through the COMP1099-S certifications on the side. So I took my first A+ test. I never passed. It wasn't that big of a deal because A+ is more of like a tech support sign. But they still like to see it.
Yeah.
So I want to get the CompTIA A+ Network Plus Security Plus.
You're working hard.
And when you get those, apparently you can become a system administrator. It's that's your, because we're going into it with no experience, right? So all you can do is just be at least I have these certifications. I'm working. In addition to, getting on a roll, and you just have to make yourself into a great package.
Exactly.
Because you can't just graduate from, Georgian and expect a job to be handed from you, especially if you haven't done anything on the side. You haven't, the co-ops can help you. They definitely do. But to have something that shows that you've taken initiative and learned beyond. Because the reason I took A+, for example, is I look at jobs constantly. I look at what jobs am I looking for. Sometimes I just throw in certain certifications like the A+. just as like, I guess, a filtering.
Yeah, filtering. Yeah, yeah.
And HR is not reading each individual resume. They just, it's just a
Filter it,
program that
yeah.
just checks for keywords. So I want to
Yeah.
make sure I have those keywords.
Keywords. Yeah, of course, you're right. Okay. Whoever comes back seems like people are or are not, but that's fine. So let's move forward and show you a few things that a Python, 3-4 lines Python code can do. For example, you're passing messages on networks or you're just messages, and you want to count the frequency of every character that occurs in that message. Simple, right? Now, nobody will do it by hand. Oh, T occurs this many times, A occurs. No, it's going to take a lot of time. But what you can do is as simple as write a program that counts it. So let's write some code.
The other projectors are still off.
Oh, sorry.
You make it really hard to visualize.
Yeah, because I was trying something you were saying and I didn't. Okay. So let's write some code, of course, in Python to count the number of times each character occurs in a message. Right? So we'll take some hard-coded message. Let's take some message. And of course, it can be case sensitive. You can convert it to all lowercase, all uppercase, whatever it is. But I'll just take a simple message here with lowercase, uppercase, whatever mixed. I'll also use special characters and show you that if you want to escape a character like quote, you do a backslash with it. So if you want to put a quote inside a quote, then you just backslash it. So in Python, you have these are called escape sequences in other languages, and that's what it's called in Python also. You have the backslash single quote, backslash double quote, backslash to get the backslash n to go to a new line, and backslash t for tabs, right? So these are called escape sequences, though messages can be written or strings in Python can be written in both ways. You can delimit them in double quotes or single quotes. Either one does. So you can say, oh, I'm going to put double quotes outside and single quotes inside, or vice versa. But the best way is to do it foolproof. And the foolproof says use escape sequences. Okay, so I've just given an example because we've never kind of shown it. I've never shown it. So Python is a simple language. Don't give up is what I'm saying. But of course, and it is only week 9. I'm trying to put a number. Let's do it. So I just wrote a simple message. I mean, as I said, it could be anything. I'm trying to include special characters like quotes, digits like 9, and of course, periods and exclamation marks and so on, just so that you can see, oh, different message. You can write different messages. You can do whatever you like. It really doesn't matter. I mean, I just wrote a message. Now, what I want to do is I want to use a dictionary in which I keep each letter or character, let's call it character, not letter, each character that is occurring in this message and its count, how many times it occurs. Okay, that's what I want to do now. So definitely, I don't know what characters are occurring, and there is a huge set of characters. We all know, like Unicode is the one that's used on Windows, for example, AppSutic on mainframes. So Unicode itself has so many characters. So I don't want to count every character in the world. I want to count how many times each character in this message is occurring. And I want to use a dictionary for it. So I'm going to take a dictionary, assign it an empty dictionary, right? To begin with, that's an empty dictionary because I don't know what are the characters that are occurring. Okay, now I want to go through every character in my message. So I want to browse my message. I want to pick it up. If it already occurs, I want to increment the count. And if it doesn't occur, then like if it's occurring I see it for the first time, I add it to the dictionary. Otherwise, I increment the count that is already available, right? And I'll use what you mentioned here just so that maybe people can see it. Okay, so how do I scan it now? So let's scan the message, or maybe browse the message, or whatever you would like to call it. So we'll use a for loop. right? I'll pick up each character, I'm just calling it character, in my count. You can say, you can call it count character, maybe a better name than count characters or whatever, maybe a better name, because count seems like, oh, it's just the count, but I'm saying character count or count character. I'll just call it character count just because, as I said, it's a better name. There, right? So I'm picking up each character in that, oh, sorry. I'm picking up each character in that message. Okay? I'm picking up each character in the message, and what do I want to do with it? I basically want to see, is it in my dictionary or not? If it is in the dictionary, increment its count. If it is not in the dictionary, add it for the first time. Okay, so let's see how we do it. Okay, so that's a normal for loop. That doesn't, I mean, it doesn't require anything. But now for my character count, in that dictionary, I'm going to use a method, set default. I'll show you what this method does. The set default method, as the name suggests, though it's not very, and again, there could be other ways. In the set default method, it says returns the value of a key if the key is in the dictionary. If not, it inserts the key with the value to the dictionary. That's what it does. So if there is already a key there, by that character is already there, that's fine. It returns the value, whatever is the value of that key, which I'll add 1 to it. Otherwise, it will add the key to the dictionary, right? So here, notice it says it can have 2 maximum parameters. 1, the key to be searched. It's like a search. Are you in my dictionary? Which I could have used in also, but I chose to do set default again to show you a different method. And the default value is optional. Key with the value default is inserted to the dictionary if key is not in the dictionary. So what do you want to do? You want to insert it with 0, and then every time, if not provided, the default value will be none. So I want to provide a value. Okay, so let's do this. So what do I want to do? I want to set the default. I want to add this character. If it is not already there, it will be inserted with the value of count of 0. That's what set default does, right? So the set default says returns the value of a key if the key is in the dictionary. If not, inserts the key in the dictionary. Now, when you insert the key in the dictionary, it says key with value is inserted in the dictionary. So if I give a default value, it will be inserted with 0. And if the key is not in the dictionary. So if it is not in the dictionary, it will get inserted, is what I've done here, right? So I just insert it in the dictionary. And the second thing that just is coming from, kind of coming from what Ian was just talking, is access that character and increment it up by 1. This is more what I was thinking in terms of using a key, right? I never thought how you did it, that you can insert a value into it. Here. So when the character is seen for the first time, you set it, you add it to the dictionary with a default value of 0, pick it up and add 1 to it. And if it is already in the dictionary, then that set default will do nothing. It won't do anything. It won't do, the 0 thing will not happen. The 0 only gets set. This key is added to the dictionary with a default value of 0 if the key is not present in the list. Okay, so this statement says if character is not present, I could have used in and all that, but again, if there is another way of doing it, this is just saying that if character is not in the list, add it as a key with default value of 0. You say, why 0? Why didn't you do 1? I didn't do a 1 because then I can write this. This will work for everything. So this will add 1 to it automatically. And if it is already in the key, if it is already in the list, then it does nothing. Then it does nothing, right? So here that's what it says. If it is already in the key, it returns the value. So if it is returning the value, what do? You take that return value and add 1 to it. That's it. That's how you can count every character in a message using a dictionary. Now, of course, to print it out. Now I'll give you an untidy print first. Like in a list, right? Now this one will be untidy because it's a long message. So we've done a normal print of a dictionary before. Let's just say print character count. This is an untidy print. What will it do? It will say A is occurring this many times, B is occurring this many times, C is occurring, whatever character it finds in no particular order. In no particular order. So it will start with P, Y, T, H. It will just go character by character. But in a minute, I'm going to show you a neat and tidy printout. Uh-oh. Set default. Dict object has no attribute. What did I go wrong in? Spelling, character count, CHER, no. Dot set default. The message was it is not a. Something has to be wrong, of course. Character count is. What could be wrong? I don't see a spelling mistake. Let's see what the error was saying.
Import anything to use that?
For no, it says object has no attribute set default. Dict object has no attribute set D. Okay, I get it. Oh, it's the Java that is coming. The D is small.
Oh,
Right, it's a small d. It's not a capital D. When I was looking at it, I thought, oh, I'll remember that because set default usually because it's 2 words and it's camel case convention. I just said that it's called the D is small. So when it says it doesn't have an attribute, that means something is wrong in the name. There it is. Let's try it once more. Okay, so whole number. Why isn't it asking for a character now? Anyway, so here it is. See, so capital P is occurring once, small y 4 times, small t 6 times, but you will also notice that there is a capital T that is occurring once times. Now, if you wanted to count and make it case insensitive, then convert your whole message to upper or lower and then count. Then it won't make a difference, right? But this is doing a case sensitive counting. So if you want to make it case insensitive, then all you have to basically do is maybe convert your message to all upper or all lower.
you just do it in message, just like or character in message.lower.
Yeah, exactly. So this is case insensitive. The one we are doing is case insensitive. Okay, it is case sensitive. So if you want to make it case insensitive, then all you do is, remember we did the lower or we've done lower. So if you wanted to make it case insensitive, use the lower or the upper method of strings. And again, you've used it before. I'll again write it, and you may find it handy in your assignment again with that end. Now you don't have to put it in the same variable, but you have to put it in a variable for sure. So if you don't want to kind of change your message, then here. Once you have this, now everything becomes lower and everything will be counted in lower. So you can use upper or lower and then now work with message. Now, if you do that, of course, you will see that the program will change in the sense that so everything is now lower. So everything becomes lower, so the count changes. If you want to make it everything upper, go to upper. So it depends on what you want to do. Do you want to do a case sensitive search, or do you want to do a case insensitive search? So this one is doing a case sensitive search if you don't do this. And this one, to make the message case insensitive, use the lower or the upper method. So, I mean, whatever you like. But this is handy, right? So when you take input from the user and the user says enter end to stop the program, end can be entered anyway, you convert it to all lower or all upper and do it. Okay. Now a little prettier form, and in sorted order. Print pretty in sorted order. You would say sorted means what? Sorted according to the character set, right? Not necessarily according to our humans. For us, it's a little different. As in the character sets, it's special characters, then the digits, then the capital letters, then the small letters. So it's a little different, but whatever it is. So for that, I'm going to use a module called pprint, which I'll have to include. And there is a pprint method inside it. And then I'll say character count. So to use it, I'll have to import it. So you can import it right away here. But there is another thing. I mean, I just try to put my imports at the head. You can actually change, you can say import pprint of pprint, and then you can use pprint without the dot notation. Now this is more common just because now you're importing everything from it. But if you have to be specific, you can always say import pprint of pprint. Let's see. I think that's how you do it. And then you don't have to do a dot here, wherever I was doing it. Is my understanding, but I can't remember a lot because I like to just import it and do the thing. Let's see if it works. If not, then we'll have an error for sure. Invalid syntax. So it's not an off. It's something else. Maybe in. Yeah, looks like. Could be wrong again. But there is a format. You can only import a particular method of a module. No, it's still invalid. Okay, I'll give up because I mean I have to.
A dot, is it? Because like you can import like.
Oh yeah, dot of something. Yeah, but I think there was a word here which I could be wrong. But there was.
That's how you do it in like Java.
Java, exactly. But here it was a word and I can't remember it. So I'll just put an import there, and here I'll say pprint.import. I'm sure I can look it up, but just don't want to waste everybody's time here. Here. So let's see how it prints now. Let's see how it prints now. See, much prettier. What has happened is it has started with blank and the special characters because that's what occurs first in the Unicode character set. We use the Unicode character set on Windows now. Then comes the digits. So there's only 1 9. Then come all capital letters. And then come all small letters. So the pprint has printed it pretty in 2 ways. One element per line, and 2, it is in sorted order. And sorting is always good for human eyes. We grasp things better when it is already in a sorted order. Okay, so that's pprint.
So you can use, I guess, assuming that pprint is organized this way, you can do from pprint.
Oh, from pprint.
Import.
Okay, I thought there was something. There was a word.
Import that function.
Okay.
This is the way that it's.
Yeah, I didn't remember the syntax. So the other syntax is from pprint, from the pprint, import the pprint method, right? Yeah,
that should work.
That should work. And then you don't have to use the dot notation. Then you don't have to use the dot notation. I'm almost positive. Yeah, I knew there was some words in there, but I didn't know if it was an off or an in. It was actually from. So from this package, import this method. So this is the other option from the package. We call it modules, right? So from module, import. I don't know what they call it. I'm just calling it method. Maybe they have a different word for it too. So this is the from module import. The advantage is then you don't have to say dot here. Because you've already said where are you getting this pprint from. Oh, and I can't see, then I don't know what I'm entering, and then it messes it up. Okay, so whole number. Yeah, it works. Right. Thanks, Ian. So I knew there was a verb, but I wasn't sure what was it, the off or the in. So here now you can say pprint without the without the module name. Some people prefer it. Then it's not the whole package that is the whole module that is being imported, but it depends on what you want to do. Okay.
Apparently, Python imports the entire module no matter what.
Oh, so what's the sense then?
So the benefit to that is just
the dot. The dot is just less code, like you typing in less code. So then what's the sense?
I was reading about that.
Oh, okay. So then it makes no sense. If it is still, yeah, it's like constants. If you're importing the whole module, then where lies the sense to say only import this? So it still imports the whole module. Okay, that's good to know. Then the whole purpose is lost, except that then you're not saying dot this and this. I mean, it saves you some typing, but just for your information, because you've done the other imports before. So there it is, right? So that's the set default. That's assigning a value to a key, picking up the old value and adding one to it. So instead of update, I could have used set default also when I want to add a new element to my list. I could do that, but update is more intuitive because it's called update. And set default is less intuitive, but you could just say set default. You could give your student number here, and you could say comma, and you could give your list here. So if the student number is not in the list, not in the dictionary, it gets added to the dictionary. So you could have done that too. Like that's another way of doing it. I mean, as I said, the set default is not intuitive. The word update is more intuitive. But it can be done. So you could have said set default, student number, comma, marks. I think you called it marks there. And you could do it. So now that you know set default, I'll update, I'll change that so that you can see. But again, that was just me doing it. So here, instead of this, you can also do this. You can say student marks, set the default, take my student number. Was it called student number? I had created. Okay, so I'll have to say Anju then. I'll have to give the key, and I'll have to give the 678. Wrong brackets. There, I could have done this also. So the update looks more intuitive just because it's called update. But if I wanted to add a new key with a list provided, this is another way of adding it to the dictionary. So there are two ways. So instead of Anju, I'll just go maybe Ian here, just to show you that it works. And let's give Ian better marks. He just did more job here. So if you do this and we try it, this will also work now. Now that you know what set default is. Didn't want to do it at that time because it's not very intuitive. So somewhere Ian should be also on my list. See, there he is. So that's another way, because that's what set defaults does. That's what we just read about it. Set default says if this is not a key in the dictionary, it gets added with this default value. If it is already in the list, then it returns whatever is in the list. So this was another way of adding a student. There is a third way that's Ian has used, but again, I'll just keep away from it just because it's not very intuitive. And two, it's his work. I don't want to just share it before the assignment. Yeah, I mean, it's something that you found out, so I don't want to share it. This is something that I know, so it's okay. Like, you know what I mean? But that's another way of doing it. To me, this is more intuitive because it says update. It means something. The set default is not very intuitive to me. But as I said, if you look at the set default, that's what it says. It says the set default method returns the value of a key. If not, it inserts the key with the value to the dictionary. So when it returns the value, like that kind of, it's okay for us because we are checking, oh, you're not in the dictionary and then you're adding it. You know what I mean? So it's okay, but it's not the best. I don't find it to be the foolproof one because it says if Ian is already present in the list, then it returns the value. But our student numbers are unique. So it will work for us. And I'm not even assigning it to anything. Usually when a method returns a value, you should always assign it to a variable. So update was also returning a value, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But again, I just chose just to ignore it. Was it returning a value? Updates the dictionary, no. So I find it to be more intuitive. So I'll kind of leave it here, but I mean, as I said, another way to add a new student, but it can be done, right? It can be done. Okay, there it is. So now you know what set default is. So notice how these 3 lines of code have done a job that would take you hours to do. So you start with an empty dictionary. When you find, what does the set default do? Add this character with a 0 default if it is a new one with the 0 default. If it is, otherwise it returns a value. I didn't keep that value. I just incremented up by 1. So the 0 becomes a 1. And for all other characters, if it is already in the list, I just pick it up. So this is an easy way of doing it. Otherwise, I would have to put an if here. So if it was found for this first one, it is 1. Otherwise, pick it up and add 1 to it. This is just easier to do. More compact, but you can use an if. You can say if that character is in my character count, then I pick it up and do it. Else, I do a set default with 0. With 1. That can be done. I mean, there's nothing that stops you from doing it, but this is just writing it without an if. I'm not even checking it. I say, if it's not there, give it a default value of 0. And then in the next step, I automatically increment it by 1. Okay, so see, like look at the power of a programming language. That's what it is. Okay, let's look at one more. I made a third one for you, which was basically an example of a nested dictionary. So we've seen a dictionary with normal values, like normal means simple data types, right? You could have strings, floats, integers, simple data types, keys, simple data types, values. We've seen an example in which the key is a string and there is a list as a value. So you can nest a list inside a dictionary. In this one, we've seen, again, the simple data type. You have a character and you have a count, which is an integer. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to create a nested dictionary, and it's like a potluck. I want to do a potluck. I've asked my guests who all are coming, what are you bringing? And then as a host, I want to create a list and see, okay, these many apple pies are being bought, these many sandwiches are being bought, although nobody's bringing cakes, or lasagna is being brought, and so on. And then so that I know how much of each quantity is coming, and if I can tell my guest, you needn't get this, or you can request somebody, oh, get this. So it's like a potluck kind of scenario, okay? So nested dictionary to create a list. I mean, I say list in English, but I don't want to list of guests and items being brought. Being brought for potluck or whatever, or picnic or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to use a dictionary here, call it all guests. I'm going to create a dictionary inside a dictionary. So every element, and I'll kind of put it on separate lines just so that it's clear, nothing else, the clarity. If you see that every dictionary, so that's the dictionary, right? So that's the dictionary. Oops. And there is another, every element inside the dictionary is again a dictionary, right? So now, for example, what do I want to do in this dictionary? I want to put the name of the person.
Add another dictionary.
Yeah, add another dictionary. And I want to say what items is this person getting. So let me, since I have it and I don't want to kind of, make it up again. So, oh, do we have 3 of them then? Oh, I don't think I'll need this outer one then, because I don't need it. The comma will do here. I don't think I'll need the third one. So there is a dictionary inside a dictionary. So Alice is bringing some apples. I'm keeping it all small because, again, searching 5 apples, and she's getting some pretzels packets, and 12 of them. Okay, so that's about Alice, right? Now, I'm a little, give me a minute. Do I need each one of them key value pair? No, I don't need to. I can do it like this. I don't need 3 nestings. 2 will do. So put a comma there. Then comes Bob. The names should be just grammatically correct. And Bob is bringing some ham sandwiches. And again, I'm keeping it all small for a reason, because when I'm going to count them or search for them, I don't want to use upper or lower. And he's getting how many ham sandwiches? Let's say he's getting 3 ham sandwiches, and he's getting some apple pies. Maybe 1 apple pie. There. So that's the second element. I'll see if I need the third one. I don't think so. The nesting is more than enough. Let's get somebody else. Let's get Carol to bring. I'm wondering if the key itself can be a dictionary. Kind of odd, because keys are just a value, right? Does it make sense anywhere that you will require the key to be a dictionary? The values can be lists and dictionaries. That makes sense. But will the key be a dictionary? I can't think of a valid.
I mean,
where would I use it?
I think if you're just looking for a value, then it might work.
Mm-hmm.
But so like if you're trying to pull, let's say Alice was the dictionary itself. Like I think like pulling whatever, I think you could search for it with another dictionary of the same Alice
value, right? But otherwise, I don't know where I would. I mean, logic. Like I'm just thinking. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Why and where would I do it? So Carol is bringing 3 cups, and she's also bringing an apple pie.
Carol needs a double colon.
Somewhere have I missed something?
Yeah. So immediately after.
Oh, because it's the value. It's the key. There. Yeah, you have to remember. I have to remember. And then that's apple pies. I'll again keep the apple pies because the pie and pies are not the same. And she's bringing 1 too. And that's the close of that, and that's the close of that. Can keys be dictionary? Syntax-wise, I don't see a problem, but logically, I can't think of an answer right away. But in which situation can the key itself? Key is usually a value on which you search, right? But if you think about relational databases, you can have composite keys, right? You can have composite keys. So from that point of view, I'm thinking, can it be a list, for example? Or can it be a dictionary, for example? It could be a list. So I could say Alice, Bob, and Carol are all bringing 5 apples and 12 pretzels, for example. Then could I make it a list? Like syntax-wise, I haven't even tried it syntax-wise. Anyway, so let's start with the simple one first.
Yeah, let's make sure this one works.
Yeah, and then we'll kind of go. Okay, so here are some guests. And again, as I said, if you want to add another guest, we already know how to do it through update. We know how to do it through set default also. So if you've created a list and somebody afterwards says, oh, I want to come in, of course, you could type it in here, but you can always update it using the update. Now I'm going to define a function, because in the assignment, I have given you define functions for everything. It will take 2 parameters. Again, the notion is that create a function that is independent of anything. So it takes its input, it gives you output. So don't rely on global variables to work with functions. That's rule number 1 when you write a function or a method, right? So you could write it without parameters, without any return values, but it's a good habit that works with 2 parameters, the dictionary which you're searching. So I will be searching that all guests dictionary, and the dictionary inside that dictionary actually. Which dictionary are you searching and what are you looking for? And I'm going to say string item, okay? So that as a host, I want to know how many apples are being bought, how many pretzels, how many sandwiches, how many apple pies, how many cups, how many cakes, which is not in here, or whatever. So to see, I'm making a list, what is being brought. I'm not keeping the name. If I wanted the name, I could. For now, I'm only saying how many. Okay, so the dictionary to be searched, which will be all guess, and the string item to be searched in the value dictionary. I'll say in each element, right? So each element will mean the value of the key. That's what each element is, right? Okay, so let's try to define this function. It's not necessary that you define it at the head, though it is always a good idea to put all your functions together. So I'm going to define it. I'm going to say total brought. So I don't care how it will be called. I'm saying I need the dictionary to be searched, guess, and I need the item to be searched. So notice when you write a function, you're not concerned of, it's like, oh, somebody wrote the length function. Did they ask you how and what? No, they wrote a length function. They assumed if you're going to find the length of a data structure, you will pass the name of the data structure, right? So with that same assumption, when you write your own methods, write a method that is independent. So it says it takes two parameters, the dictionary to be searched and the string item to be searched in each element. So for example, if I want to search for apples, pretzels, ham sandwiches, and so on, and where do I want to search it? I want to search it in all guess. Or you could do something. You could only give me this one at a time, but I'll do this one at a time inside it. Okay. So I don't know what you call it. You've called it all guess, but this is my job that I will search it in all guess. So what will I have to do? I'll have to use a for loop, of course. So let's take the number brought and assign it a value 0. Don't forget that because you're going to add 1 to it, right? Now I'm going to extract the name of the guest. Just again, these names so that and what items are they bringing? Right? And in my dictionary using my items method. Okay. I get the name of the guest and I say, what items are you bringing? Now this bringing items is where I want to search my item. Okay. So, or it could be anything. Searching could be anything. I could say, oh, is Bob coming to the party? Then I would be searching Bob. So searching can be anything. I'm just trying to make it complicated because I'm trying to show you an example of a nested dictionary. So now what I want to do is I want to basically look at number brought, increment it by in the bringing items, get the item, and if it is not present, the default value is 0. Make sense? So pick up the guests list. From the guest list, extract the name of the guest and the bringing items. The name of the guest, if you wanted to print it out. I'm not yet interested in that. I'm interested in the bringing items. Or the other option would have been, you could have written this for loop in your main and just passed bringing items every time. That was another option. But again, I'm just making it independent of anything. I'm not doing half job. The function does the complete job, right? So it picks up the name of the guest and the bringing items from the list, then gets the item from the bringing items because I know that bringing items is a dictionary again and get is a method that I'm using in it, and I add it to the number brought. And when I'm done with this for loop, I just return the number there. So this is a complete function with parameters and it returns the values. That's what it does. So it takes two parameters, the dictionary object to be searched and the string item. I've kind of, you know, I've mentioned the types so that it makes a little more sense. So the dictionary guests to be searched and the string item to to be searched in each element. Maybe if you want it more clear, we can say to be searched in each value. So take guest as your dictionary, item to be searched in each value of that dictionary, and return the count of items in the dictionary object. Right? So this value is basically the value of each element. Which is your nested one, right? There comes the nested. The whole idea of nested is coming from there. So each element, remember, each element is key value pair. Okay, so there it is. That's how I get the number brought for everything. So scan the whole list, scan the whole dictionary, pick up every element of the dictionary, take the number brought variable, start with 0, and keep adding the item. If it is, what does get do? Get the item, returns the value if it is present, otherwise returns 0. 0 is the default value. So if it didn't find it, it will return a 0, which is okay. So it will go through apples, pretzels, compare, hand sandwiches, apple pies, compare, cups, apple pies, compare. And now as a host, I want to print my list. So as a host, I want to print my list. So now let's print the list of items being brought to the potluck. I'm not sure if potluck is one word or two words. Okay, so let's do some printings. And again, this printing is just for your information, and I'll make it a little neat. I'll say item, and I can, without doing all this counting in my, without all this extra blanks, I can make it prettier, but we need to know string functions for them, which we will do next week. So yeah, I can use tabs and everything, but I'll kind of make it, I'll kind of manipulate it. How many apples are being bought? Assuming ham sandwiches is not bigger than that. There. And now I'm going to call that number brought function with apples. So with all guess, where do I want to search? And with the word apples, because all my apples are appearing in small in my list. There. So how many apples are being bought? Let's say how many apple pies, how many ham sandwiches, how many, what else? Cups, how many pretzels, and maybe something that is not even present. So let's start with apple pies. Then ham sandwiches. And what you see is messages. So grammatically correct. Oops. Sandwiches. So, did I misspell it? Sandwich. No, the D is missing. And then comes pretzels. Not in any particular order. Of course, I could have made a sorted list of it. I could create a list first. I can do that. It will work. I can put all these items in a list, and then I can sort them, and then I can print them out. I mean, you can make it, you can, as I said, you can make it as, it's all programming. The whole thing is it's all under your hands. I mean, you are the master of programming. Okay. And then ham sandwiches, then pretzels. What else do we have? Cups. And let's say cakes, which are not present at all. And now just so that everything appears pretty, this is not how we should be doing it. There are string functions. We'll do them next. Oops. We'll do them next time. You can give a total width, and that's how it will become tabular in nature. Okay, so here, now you have to be careful that you exactly copy what's here. So apple pies, don't make any mistake, because as I said, I'm doing spelling mistakes, of course, have to be avoided at all costs. And I'm also not doing any like, we have to know, are all these in lowercase? Yes. Then if I have to pass it in lowercase. So if you mix and match, then what you're searching for has to be exactly what you have written here. I mean, that's searching, right? And it depends on how you want to search. That's ham sandwiches. Then what's next? Pretzels is next. So the item name cannot be wrong. I mean, if you give a wrong one, it will just say 0. Then comes cups. Cups is easy. I shouldn't be making a mistake in its spelling. And cakes are not even present, but I'm saying cakes. Let's see what it does. I don't know how it will look, but all these have the same kind of width. So assuming it will look okay. This is my list of guests. I think it should be bigger. I don't know. Let's try. Oh, invalid syntax. Oh, I'm missing. No. Doesn't it like the bracket to be started from a new line? Maybe not.
Oh, you know what? It is tab sensitive, right?
Oh, yes, it is tab sensitive.
So,
yeah, I forget that.
Normally would matter.
Yeah, normally it's just on a
language.
new line, right? Okay, so this one is okay. I forgot to put an opening bracket. Oh, there you have to be really, yeah, keep forgetting that Python is very space sensitive. At one time when I was a programmer, I thought, you know what, why are we writing this begins and ends and curly brackets? And language should automatically indent it and so on. And now I say, no. It's not so good. Uh-oh, somewhere in it. Oh, okay.
You never called it.
Oh, didn't we? Yeah, we did. Number brought. Spelling mistake. Number brought is not defined. Didn't we define it? Didn't I put a def in front of it? I did. Total brought.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you have to call.
Number brought. I don't know what I was. Oh, you know what? The name of the variable. I'm not sure if it will work. Name of a method function is same as the name of a variable inside it. Could work. I mean, there is nothing, no rule which says it cannot. But I don't want to confuse you.
I know Python's weird though.
Yeah, I mean,
you can declare the same variable.
Exactly, because it is,
and it's fine.
Fine.
But in Python, it's not.
It's exactly, that's what I'm saying. With Python, it's a weakly typed language. And when you work with weakly typed language, you are kind of not sure of how things will work till you test them out. And this is not a good time to test them out, but right in class. But of course, I would test it out to see does it work or not. That's what happens with weakly typed language. You have a method called total brought, number brought, and then you made it an integer. Does it retain that method name or is it lost? God knows. Okay, let's try it. Okay, so whole number. There it is. So a little out of, like the count is a little away, but that's my item and that's my count. Now, instead of this, where I'm writing each one of them separately in a line, I can make it better. How? You can put all these items in a list, right? All these items can be put in a list. And so that's what I'm saying here, because I'm manipulating how it looks. I'm not using a string function. I'll have to kind of be a little, not too bad. Okay, so there it is. But now to improve it a little, we have a little time, so we can, I mean, the whole purpose is that you improve your code a little. So I'll take this and I'll just put it here. And I'll just put a print in front of it. That way, at least we have it separately. And I'll stop where everything else is stopping. And the count was just one towards the right, a couple towards the left. Okay, there. Now, instead of putting this and writing so many print statements, another way would have been this. You could have created, I mean, I'm trying it. I think it will work. You can create a list of items. I could create a list of items. So I can say items, right? I'll create a list of items. And each of these items, oh, the only thing is then I'll have to put them in lowercase, because I'm searching for apple pies, ham sandwiches, and so on. Oh, no, it's not in Python. Some languages have a proper case also. Lower, upper, could be. Does Python have it? I can't remember. I think there is a lower and an upper and a, what was it called? Was it called proper case? In my string functions, I think I have them. I could be wrong. It could be in somewhere else because I teach so many different courses. But I thought maybe it was Excel. I have some string examples here. So split, right, justified, center, strips. Oh no. Look for cases. Let me look for cases.
Looks like
There is a
title.
Is title returns true if the string only contains begin,
Yeah,
but that is a
yeah.
is title. That's asking a Boolean value.
No. There's a title function. The function in Python converts the input string to proper case or
Oh, is it?
case.
What is it called?
Title.
Just title?
Just title.
Okay, let's try that.
Begin with uppercase and the rest are lowercase.
Okay, so let's try that then.
Sounds like that's what you want.
Yeah, that's what I want. So we'll take these apples one by one again, put them in my list. And what will it save me? I'll show you what it saves me. I'll take the apple pies, put it in my list, and I can sort it afterwards. That will make it all the more easy. Again, now that you know stuff, you can practice it. You know what I mean? Like you can implement it. Take your pretzels. So I'm not putting them in any particular order, but if I remember, there was a sort function. If I'm not mistaken, there was a sort function, was it? I think there was a sort function of a list. You can take your items and sort them and put it back in items. I mean, that's what I want to do. Oops, items. And now I can use a for loop. I can pick up each element at a time in my items list. And I can use one print statement. I can use one print statement. I can say here, so sorry, what was it called? Title?
Yeah.
It's a function?
Yeah.
Okay. So take the title, convert your item. What does title do? Title puts it in proper case as far as I think it works, right? And then here I'll put my item here. And this statement is only written once. Of course, you can put your print and this one outside your table, outside the for. So you have it. And then you can put a last one outside the for. And do it. What have I done? I've created a list of items. Then I've sorted them so that the output comes in a sorted order. I've picked up every item from the items list and I've printed it in title form. The title form just prints it in proper case. Hopefully it will work. I don't know, like we can try. If we have a syntax error, we will know. Okay. Oh, sort is not defined.
It's sorted.
Sorted. Okay. Oh God. Okay. So sorted. Yeah, you're right. It is sorted. Now it's purple. So title is not defined. Okay. Is it a method or a function? If it's a method, I will have to say item.title. Is it a method or a function? It's a string method, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's a method, not a function. That's okay. It's me because I'm also trying it. I thought I'd seen it. I wasn't sure. Let's try it once more. There it is. Okay, we need some blanks in between, but otherwise there it is. See, so I'm doing the same job, and it is sorted in order because I sorted it. So apple pies, apples, cakes, cups, and bring your attention. Cakes is giving 0 because nobody was bringing cakes, right? Now to make it a little neater, though there are ways of doing it, right now I can do this. I can put a tab in between, right? So I don't know how it will look. I can go \T for tab. Put a tab. Now it will put a tab in between. Will it look nice or not? I have no clue. And therefore, the string methods come handy here when you're not very sure of how it will look. Then you can exactly say, give me 20 blanks. You can go that way, that route, okay? So let's try this again. See, so tabs are different. For apple pies, the tab is behaving different because it ended here and then 2 tabs. For apples, it's 2 tabs here. For sandwiches, it is 2 tabs here. So anything which is bigger, the tabs are not as it is and so on. So it's not the neatest of it, but the best we can do from what we have learned yet. So if nothing else, I can do this. I can put a colon and leave a blank. At least that will look neater. But it can be manipulated. I mean, it can be done using programming. It's not a big deal. Just some string functions are required or methods. Not that bad, right? At least there is some spacing in between. So the colon helps you to kind of at least read clearly. That's all. But it can be done. Formatting, you haven't done formatting yet. There is a print format that can be done. And like there's no end to it. And I want to keep it simple just because I don't want to complicate it, but you can use a printing with the formatting. You can say, I need to put 10 blanks in between or whatever. I want to show 20 blanks in between. It can be done, right? If you like, I can try it for you, but it's not a very tough thing, but I'll show it to you. It may not be very clear. So this is how you can print with format. You want to print, so you use percentage and you want to ham sandwiches. 20 S says, give me a space of 20 strings, okay? Then you give another maybe 10 S for the blanks. Then you give another, total brought is what? A number. It is an integer? Yes, an integer. So I don't know, 3D for an integer. Okay. Now this is a format. And then in Python, you go this again, and in the brackets, you put your list. So what do you want to print? You want to print item title. So the first one will be replaced by item title. Okay. What is the second thing you want to print? You want to print a blank in 10 spaces. What is the third parameter you want to print? You want to print the total brought in the third one, which you could have put in a variable. Nothing stops you from putting it in a variable. Oops. So look at this. I've just formatted it. It may come handy again in your assignment because I'm doing formatting. I'm saying for the first item, for this one, the first argument here, give it 20 space, 20 strings, right? 20 space. Anything that is smaller, strings are left justified, will go to the left. Then I'm saying, give me 10 strings. I don't know if you put commas in between, and give me a blank in that 10 space. And then I'm saying, give me 3D. 3D means D for an integer, 3 spaces, and print out this integer. So this is coming from Java. If there, it is a little, not from Java, from other languages I know. If we have a syntax error, we will have to look it up. Oh, not bad at all. So it's, okay, what happened? I'm in the same for loop. That's why. But notice how neat it is. I mean, it's better, not neater, but it is better. So what's happening is if you kind of close your eyes, no, don't close your eyes. Let's do this. Let's just remove this one for a minute. Let's comment this one out. Okay, let's run it again and see how bad or good it is. Better? So what is happening is this, notice, these are 20 characters and text is right justified. I'm sure you can make it left justified by putting a minus. I'm almost positive, okay? So all of these are taking 20 each. Then 10 has been, the 10 spaces are for blank. And then the D is telling you that 3 spaces are given for integers. You can only say a percentage D and it will work also. You don't have to say 3D. You can just say a D and it will work. But what have I made by this is I've kind of put this in a tabular form. I've just put this in a tabular form. So if 20 looks big, all I'll do is instead of 20, so you play with it a little. Instead of 20, I'll go 15. I'll try the minus to see if it is left justified. I'm not so sure. I don't need the 3. 3 was giving the size, but I won't need it. But let's see again. Definitely better. So the minus has left justified it. The positive was right? And the now I don't have to worry about 15 because 15 is, look at your maximum. Ham sandwiches is the maximum. HAM blank SANDWICHES 14. So 15 was a good one. You could have gone 20. And then after that, 10 blanks are being left. And then notice the difference between 3D and this. The difference is if I said 3D, the 12 will be shifted towards the left. Now it is towards the right. In 3D, it gives you a size of 30. So there it is, formatting. You've seen formatting also. May not look very friendly, not very easy to understand, but meter. So the 3D has given 3 spaces for integers. So the 12 has moved. See the difference? The 12 is now this way. In the previous one, 12 was towards the right. So 3D giving it a space of 3, and then it will adjust 12 in 3. If it is more than that, then it's fine. There, looks much neater. So formatting can be done. So you can make your program look as pretty. So here I did, it looks pretty, but I had to kind of manipulate it myself. Here, what did I do? I used formatting that was given by the program, by the language to me. So minus 15S says, give me a space of 15 to put something in 15 and make it left justified. And what does S mean? I'm going to give you a string. Then I say, give me 10 spaces, I will put a string in it. So is this a string, item title? Yes, it is a string. Why did I use title? To make it capital. Every word starts with the capital. Then a blank will occur in 10 spaces. And then since this was a number, I said a 3D. So again, this is just for your information so that you know that there is a way of formatting. So if I say I need 2 places after in the average, you can find something like this. I'm not doing it for you, you can find it. Okay. So I've done formatting here for you. So title, formatted output. Right, formatted output and the percent, and these are called format specifiers. These are called format specifiers. So these are format specifiers. The percentage minus 15S, comma, percentage 10S. One has a positive, one has a negative. It's for left and right justified. And percentage 3D, these for integer are called format specifiers. Right? So S is for string, S for string, and D is for integer. Now, of course, if I had done this here, I would like to do something here also in my print item. Instead of going item blank blank count, I could have done the same thing. Because it's not that neat. At the end, my count is a little towards, because it was matching this one first. Now the count is not matching it because I've left 10 spaces in between. You can reduce it if you want. I mean, it's not a big deal. Instead of 10, I can go maybe 8 and it will start looking neater. Or 6 or 5. I mean, you don't need that many spaces, but whatever. You manipulate a little and then it starts looking neat. Not bad, a little more and I'll be fine. Right? So once you know how to do formatting, it's fine. So even 8 was bigger. We can go 5 here. And 5 here. Oh God. There. Pretty. One has been done manually, like I did the thing manually. I created it as I wanted to see it. And in the second one, I used format specifiers from the language. That means if you want to print something with a percentage 2 places after decimal, for floating numbers, real numbers, it's an F. D is for integers, S is for strings, F is for floating number. So, but at least you know where you can search for it, if you want to go that route. But it just, floating point will just truncate it. So 0.2 means stop at 2 places. 0.3 means stop at 3 places. Okay, but there it is. That's one way of formatting. So when I say give me 2 places after decimal, I'm hoping you will go and look for it. But here is an example that will tell you what it is. That takes care of the dictionary object that I wanted to work with, plus a review of your assignment, right? So I did quite a bit while I was doing it. I said you could use this in your assignment also. So don't copy and paste stuff and give me something that I haven't asked for. Please do the assignment if you can. If you need more time, let me know. I can increase the period. It really doesn't matter. People who will do it have started doing it. People who will not do it till the last day, doesn't matter what time I give, they'll still do it on the 11th. That's the whole purpose. To me, it really doesn't matter. Just because it's Wednesday, I finished teaching today, I can give you till next Wednesday. That way, everybody has a week. You know what I mean? Like, now you know everything about dictionaries. I just postpone it to next Wednesday because I've covered dictionaries totally. And again, formatting is something that you can look up if you like. But here is an example which the Tuesday section did not do, but I can leave a note for them that I've shown some formatting in the Wednesday section. I didn't have time yesterday. Sorry for taking 4 minutes above. So I'll put this on Blackboard for you guys, and I'll postpone the date to Wednesday for the assignment. That doesn't mean that it doesn't matter now. If you don't work on it, you will not get it, especially because you're new, right? Because you're new. It's not that you don't know it. It will just take a little more time. So please try your best now. And so I am putting this, as I always do, under your weekly learning, under Wednesday programs. So we've finished week 9 today. And we've worked with the dictionary data structure. So I'll browse my computer. I'll put it for you. Courses, Python. And there it is. And I'll make an announcement. As soon as I get to my office, I'll make an announcement that programs are posted. But again, it's still your work. You can't say, oh, I'll open up all Anju's programs and I'll start copying and pasting. You cannot do it. Create a pseudocode for yourself. This is what I want to do. Write them in steps and then change it into whiles and fors and if statements and functions and so on. That's the best way to go around it. Because you have to know what to do before you start doing it. Because you're not at that stage where you can start coding right away without writing pseudocode. Just because it's your first course. Right? Okay, so that takes care of dictionary. We will jump to string functions and regular expressions next week. So for strings, what I'll do is I'll kind of create a program and bring it with me because it's just easy to see. That's just string functions. And for regular expressions, I may have to do a little more work with you.